Good evening, friends. Tonight on Detective Radio, we head north, far from London's fog, to the rocky hills of Scotland. Dorothy L. Sayers' story, The 5 Red Herrings, begins in an artist's colony where tempers flare as often as the sea winds. One morning, a brilliant but quarrelsome painter is found dead beside a stream. An accident? Or a murder hidden behind paints and bicycles? 6 artists hold 6 alibis, but one of them is false. Lord Peter Wimsey, with Inspector Macpherson, must unpick 5 red herrings to catch the real killer. This is The 5 Red Herrings.
Willie? When you have a moment, old lad?
I will not. What can I be getting you?
Same again, please. Waters, you going to have another?
No, thanks, Wimsey. Don't think I will. I've got to be up early in the morning. Worse luck.
Ah, you English. You can't even talk a wee dram of whiskey for fear of your bare heads.
Oh, God, Campbell. I thought you'd gone home. Do be quiet, there's a good fellow. You're getting on my nerves.
Do be quiet, there's a good fellow. You're getting on my nerves. Ha! You great English Molly. No wonder you Southerns need Scotsmen to run your bloody country for you.
You're still harping on that? Who says we do, anyway?
All the big administrative posts in London are held by Scotsmen, aren't they? And what about the army? Every time your English regiments go to pieces, they have to send for Scottish officers to control them.
Do they really?
Aye. And you ask anybody who was in the war, my lad. They'll tell you what they thought of the job.
Yes, I know what they said. They brag too much.
What?
I agree. The trouble with all you Scotties is that you have an inferiority complex.
You bloody patronising bastard!
No, Mr. Campbell.
Right, Campbell, I'll break your ruddy neck for that, you dusty-handed tyke there!
Come on. Chuck it, Waters, chuck it.
Come on, wait, Campbell, man. This is no way to behave. Be quiet.
That's better. Come on now, this ain't the League of Nations. I'm up here in Galloway for a fishing holiday, not a civil war. Take on both your houses, have a bit of sense.
He called me a bastard. I'm damned if I'll stand it. He better keep out of my way, that's all.
You'll find me if you want me. And I'll say it again. He's a bastard.
You'll be thinking better of it in the morning. Come along. I'll give you a lift back to Gatehouse.
Yeah, you be damned, McAdam. I've got my own car, and I can drive it. And I don't want to see any of the whole blasted lot of you again.
Dear.
Quite.
Aye, Campbell will be getting into trouble one of these days. I shouldn't wonder. The manners of him are past all bearing. Did you hear what he said to Strachan up at the golf course the other day? Making himself out to be the boss of the whole place. Strachan, as secretary to the club, told him that he saw him on the course again, he'd wring his neck.
Aye, I was here on that too.
Aye. And I would not blame Strachan either. Yes, Campbell only lived 2 seasons in Gatehouse, and he's setting the whole of Galloway by the ears. He's a devil when he's drunk and a lout when he's sober. It's a great shame. Our little artistic community has always gotten on well together, without giving offence to anybody. And now there are nothing but rows and bickerings all through this fellow Campbell.
It's best to pay no attention to him. If he gets what is coming to him, I'm thinking not be from anybody here.
You'll be thinking of Hugh Farren?
I'll be naming no names, but it's still well known that he's made trouble for himself with a certain lady.
It's no fault of the ladies.
I'm not saying it is. Whether some gets into trouble without others to help them tate.
I shouldn't have fancied Campbell in the role of homebreaker.
I shouldn't fancy him at all. But he fancies himself quite enough. Especially as a painter. Did you hear what he said to Matthew Gowan? Had the blasted cheek to say he was an out-of-date blunderer.
You say, that's high treason, ain't it?
I should think so. Gowan's a real painter. My God, it makes me hot to think of it. He actually said it in the Arts Club in Edinburgh, too, before a whole lot of people, friends of Gowan's.
Really? What did Gowan say?
He gave as good as he got. He told Campbell that the only artistic things about him were his plaid cloak and big hat. They're not on speaking terms now.
Is there a single person in the stewartry Campbell hasn't had crosswords with? He's even fallen out with his next-door neighbour, Ferguson, I'm told, after backing his car into Ferguson's wall. And wasn't there some talk of a row about fishing?
No, Him and Jock Graham is just at daggers drawn about it.
Particularly after Campbell had tried to duck him in the fleet.
Did he, Bridger?
Aye, but he got well ducked himself for his pains.
Well, Strachan, Farron, Gowan, Ferguson, Graham, and now you, Waters. Campbell's certainly doing his best to make himself unpopular. However, it's best to be patient and take no notice, I suppose. Come on, Waters, it's getting late. We better make tracks. Afternoon, Willie. I'll have a pint of that excellent heavy of yours, if I may.
Aye, my lord. Did you hear about Mr. Campbell?
Aye, what further trouble has he managed to get into since last night?
He's dead.
Dead?
Aye. McCallum's just brought the news in from Gatehouse of Fleet. They found the body at 2 o'clock up in the hills by Newton Stewart.
Good heavens. What did he die of?
Just tumbled into the burn and drowned himself, for what they say.
Good gracious me. Yeah, an accident, I suppose. Thank you.
He was seen painting there shortly after 10 this morning on the wee bit high ground by the brig, and Major Dougal gaed back 2 o'clock and spied the body ligging in the burn.
I think I'll just toddle over there in the car and have a look at him. Corpses are rather in my line, you know. Where is the place exactly?
About 2 miles this side of Begrennan. There's a wee brig over the burn. It's away to your left of in that.
Ah, thank you. Yes, I think I know the place. What's the burn called?
The Minnock.
Ah, yes, of course. Well, I'll be off then. I don't want to miss all the fun, do I? No doubt the police are up there already.
Aye. Sergeant DL of Newton Stewart.
Ah, splendid. I like DL. Well, I'll see you later, old lad. You know, I don't mind betting this is the most popular thing that Campbell ever did. Nothing in life became him like the leaving of it, eh, what?
DL?
Ah, there you are.
Aye, my lord. I doubted you'd be here before very long. We've just brought the body up from the burn if you want to take a peek.
Oh, I'd like that very much.
You'll know Dr. Cameron, maybe.
No. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon, my lord.
How is the corpse?
Well, I've examined him. He's been dead for several hours, I would say. The rigor, you see, is well developed.
Was he drowned?
I cannot be certain about that. But my opinion, mind you, it is only my opinion, is that he was not. The bones of the temple are fractured, and I would be inclined to say he got his death in falling or in striking the stones in the burn.
Yes, he's got knocked about a bit. And I don't wonder, going down that bank full tilt. I suppose he must have stepped back to admire his painting and gave one step too far.
Aye, it's a dangerous place. Well now, Doctor, I'm thinking we should be getting the body into the car.
Righty-ho. I'll take a look at this painting here. Unless I can help you with the lifting, Sergeant.
No. Thank you for the offer, my lord, but Constable Ross and I can manage by ourselves.
Splendid.
Ross, over here, lad.
Now then, let's have a look. I say, that's interesting. That is very interesting indeed. DL?
My lord?
Come over here a moment, would you?
Reconstructing the accident, my lord.
Not exactly. Just looking for something. Have you searched the corpse's pockets?
No yet, my lord. Time enough for that at the station. It's purely a formality, you know.
It's not a lad.
What do you mean?
There's something fishy about this deal. Could you get the constable to turn the pockets out now?
Aye, my lord. Ross, empty the pockets, will you, and bring what you find over here. What would you be looking for exactly?
Well, now, see here. This is Campbell's satchel with most of his belongings in it, except his palette and painting knife, which are over there on the stool. Now then, a flask of whiskey, tumbler, sandwiches, brushes, a packet of fags, and 9 tubes of paint. To wit, half-pound tube of vermilion spectrum, unused. Ultramarine number 2, half full. Chrome yellow, nearly full. Viridian, cobalt, crimson lake, rose madder, as good as finished, and a half-pound lemon yellow, partly used and very dirty. Well, Sergeant, what's missing? Maybe the constable's found it.
Thank you, Ross. Here we are, my lord. His handkerchief, a catalogue for something or other, a corkscrew, his watch, his pocket comb, a book of stamps, some loose cash, his keys, and a small notebook. Is any of those what you were expecting?
No. You know, I don't like the look of this at all, Yale. Look here, there is just one possibility. It may have rolled down the bank. For God's sake, get your people together and hunt for it now. Now, don't lose a minute.
But my lord, could you no be telling us what would we be searching for?
For heaven's sake, Sergeant, ain't it obvious? Look at the painting, man. Look at the painting. What colour are the clouds?
White, my lord.
Exactly. So where is the white paint? Who took the flake white? Well, any luck, Sergeant?
We've searched high and low, my lord, but we can't find it.
Well, in that case, we had better go to the coroner. No, of course, you don't keep coroners in these parts, do you? The procurator fiscal is the lad. You had better go to the fiscal and tell him that the man has been murdered.
Murdered?
Yes, Sergeant. Okay, likewise, hoots, murdered is the word.
But, my lord, what makes you come to that conclusion?
The rigidity of the corpse, the fact that you can't find the flake white, certain smears of tar, which I've just discovered on the back cushions of Campbell's car, and last but not least, the character of the deceased himself. He was a man anybody might have felt proud to murder.
The rigidity of the corpse, now. That'll be a matter for you, Doctor.
I confess that has been puzzling me. If the man had not been seen alive just after 10 o'clock this morning, I would have said he would have been near a 12-hour state.
So should I. On the other hand, you'll notice that the paint on the painting, which was put on with the Copal Quick drying medium, is still comparatively wet, in spite of the hot sun and the dry air.
Aye. So I'm forced to the conclusion that the chill of the water produced early rigor.
Aye. Yes, well, I do not submit to force. I prefer to believe that the man was killed about midnight. It's my theory that the murderer brought the body here this morning in Campbell's own car. He was wearing Campbell's soft hat and that foul plaid cloak of his, so that anybody passing might mistake him for Campbell. He had the body on the floor of the tonneau, and on top of it he had a push cycle, which has left tarry marks on the cushions here, look. Tucked in over the whole lot, he had this rug, which has tar marks on it too. Then I think he dragged out the corpse, carried it up the sheep track on his shoulders, and tumbled it into the burn. Then, still wearing Campbell's hat and cloak, he sat down and faked the picture. Then he'd done enough to create the impression that Campbell had been here painting. He simply hopped on his push-bike and went away. But he made one mistake. He took with him the flake white.
That's a very interesting theory, my lord, but...
You can test it, you can test it. If anybody saw Campbell this morning to speak to, or close enough to recognise his face, then, of course, it's a washout.
I'll no say you're no right.
Good lad, good lad. Now, let's consult the map and see what our murderer has to do next. Now, here he is, with only a bicycle to help him, and he's got to dissociate himself from this place as quickly as possible. Well, it looks as if his best bet would be to go northwest and strike the railway at Bar Hill. From there he could get a train either north to Glasgow or south to Stranraer in Ireland. If I were you, I'd have a hunt in that direction.
And who do you think, my lord, would be the likeliest person to have committed the crime?
Well, the murderer has got to be an artist, and I can think of half a dozen artists with perfectly good motives and the necessary talents. Mr. Waters told me yesterday evening, when I escorted him home, that Campbell was a very easy painter to copy, and I dare say the others who quarrelled with Campbell think the same. However, I might be able to put my finger on the guilty man for you, Sergeant.
Oh, well, if you do find him, my lord, you'll let us know.
I will. If, of course, he doesn't slay me first. Hello, Bunter. What's for dinner? I'm feeling uncommonly ready for it. Do you know, Bunter, there is a beautiful corpse up at Creetown?
Yes, my lord. I was informed about the discovery of Mr. Campbell's body and apprehended that your lordship would be engaged in investigation. Not being certain of the exact hour of your lordship's return, however, I thought it wiser to prepare a dish of stewed beef with thick gravy and vegetables, which could, in case of necessity, be kept hot without deterioration.
Excellent.
Thank you, my lord. I understand from the butcher that the portion of the animal which I have been accustomed to call shin of beef is termed in these parts the, hoch.
I believe you're right, Bunter.
I did not take the man's word for it. I inspected the carcass and ascertained that the correct cut was removed from it.
You are always so thorough.
I do my best, my lord. Would your lordship desire me to refer to the comestible as, hoch during our residence in this country?
It would be a graceful concession to national feeling, Bunter, if you can bring yourself to do it.
Very good, my lord.
And now let me tell you about my investigation so far.
As your lordship pleases.
Sandy Campbell was murdered, Bunter. Probably last night, and almost certainly by someone who knew him well. This morning, the murderer drove up to the Minnoch and pretended to be Campbell painting, in order to establish some sort of alibi for himself.
I understand, my lord.
Splendid. Now take a look at this. I stopped at the Anworth Hotel in Gatehouse for tea and potato scones on my way back, and made out a list of suspects.
6 gentlemen, I observe, my lord.
Precisely. All of whom quarrelled with Campbell at one time or another. What else do you observe, Bunter?
That they are all artists, my lord. Furthermore, that they are all tall, physically powerful gentlemen, capable, I would imagine, of lifting and carrying a dead body with ease.
Very good, Bunter. Anything else?
3 of the gentlemen, Messrs. Waters, Farron and Gowan, live here in Kirkcudbright, while the other 3, Messrs. Graham, Strachan and Ferguson, reside in Gatehouse of Fleet, my lord.
And as Campbell was last seen roaring drunk in Kirkcudbright, about to go home to Gatehouse, he could have been murdered in either place, what?
Or somewhere between the 2, my lord.
True. Well, I started at Campbell's cottage. It's at the bottom of a small lane overlooking the Fleet, and Ferguson lives next door in a very similar establishment. The police had locked Campbell's, of course, but I did manage to dig out Mrs. Green, his daily woman, who lives not far away. She informed me that Campbell had his breakfast this morning and was away out by the time she arrived at 8 o'clock, leaving his cottage in much the same state as usual.
But, my lord, I understood you to say that Mr. Campbell was murdered last night.
Exactly, Bunter. Which means somebody ate his breakfast for him. Presumably the murderer. Now, Campbell's and Ferguson's cottages share a common entrance yard, so that everything that's done in one can be overlooked from the other. Therefore, if anything unusual did happen in Campbell's cottage, either last night or this morning, Ferguson could scarcely have failed to see something of it. On the other hand, if Ferguson saw nothing, probably nobody did, because there are no other close neighbours.
Did you talk to Mr. Ferguson, my lord?
No. He's disappeared.
My lord!
Unfortunately. He can, however, be accounted for. He went to Glasgow on the 9/8 this morning, having bought a first-class return valid for 3 months. Apparently he travelled the 6 miles up to Gatehouse Station by bus, and told the booking clerk he'd left his car at home because the magneto had broken down. I think he was probably telling the truth, too, because when I examined his car in his garage, there was no magneto there, indicating that he'd probably taken it to Glasgow for repairs.
It should be possible to confirm the gentleman's visit to the motoring shop or showroom in question, my lord?
Yes. Well, that's a routine job for DL and his myrmidons. But Ferguson does seem to be in the clear so far, which is more than I can say for Strachan.
Mr. Strachan, my lord? Does he not live up near the golf course?
Indeed. So I called in to see if I could fix up a foursome. Mrs. Strachan was in the sitting-room, instructing her daughter Myra in the art of plain knitting.
A foursome, Lord Peter? Well, I don't quite know. I don't think Harry is likely to be playing for a day or 2. He's had rather a tiresome... Oh, well, I really don't know. Myra, dear, run and tell Daddy Lord Peter Wimsey is here and wants to talk to him. You know, I never like to make any sort of arrangements for Harry. I always manage to put my foot in it.
I hope I'm not being a nuisance, Mrs. Strachan.
Of course not.
Ah.
How could you be a nuisance? We're always so delighted to see you. And what have you been doing with yourself this beautiful day?
I have been up to the Minnoch to see the body.
The body? How dreadful that sounds. What do you mean? A salmon or something?
No, Campbell. Sandy Campbell, haven't you heard?
No, what? Has anything happened to Mr. Campbell?
Oh, good Lord, I thought everybody knew. He's dead. He tumbled into the Minnoch and got killed.
Killed? Oh, perfectly dreadful.
Ah.
Oh, Harry, what do you think? Lord Peter says poor Mr. Campbell has been killed up at the Minnoch.
Killed? But what do you mean, Millie? Who killed him?
Of course I don't mean that, Harry. How absurd. And how horrible. He fell into the burn.
What's this all about, Wimsey?
Ah, it's perfectly true, I'm afraid. They found Campbell's dead body in the Minnoch at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Apparently he'd been painting and slipped over the edge of the granite and cracked his skull on the stones.
Ah, that's exactly like Campbell. He walks about... That is, he used to walk about with his eyes on the canvas, his head in the air, never looking in the least where he was going. Well, he's done it once too often, that's all.
Don't speak in that unfeeling tone. The poor man's dead, and though he wasn't a very nice man, one can't help feeling sorry about it.
Oh, of course. I didn't say I wasn't sorry. I never wished any harm to the fellow.
I say, you seem to have been in the wars a bit yourself. There's a splendid black eye you have there.
This. Yes, most ridiculous thing. I was up at the golf course after breakfast when some putrid fool sliced a ball about 1,000 miles off the fairway and got me slap bang in the eye.
But Harry,
Millie.
How tiresome. Who was the blighter?
I haven't the faintest idea. I was completely knocked out for the moment, and when I pulled myself together, I only saw a party of men making off in the distance. I felt too rotten to bother about it. Simply made tracks for the clubhouse and had a drink. Then I came straight home, so that's why I hadn't heard about Campbell. Oh, dash it all, this means a funeral, I suppose. It's a bit awkward. In the ordinary way, we'd send a wreath from the club, but I didn't quite know what to do under the circumstances, because last time he was here, he behaved so badly, I told him to send in his resignation.
It's a nice little problem. But I think I should send one all the same. Shows a forgiving spirit and all that, don't you know what? Keep your vindictiveness for the person who damaged your face. By the way, whom were you playing with? Couldn't he have identified the assassin?
No, I was just having a practice round against Bogey. I caddied for myself, so unfortunately there were no witnesses.
I see. Your hand looks a bit knocked about, too. Must have spent a good bit of time in the rough, huh? Well, I really came round to ask you to make up a foursome tomorrow with Waters and Bill Murray and me, but I don't suppose that you'll, so to speak, feel with your eyes just a while. Hardly. Oh, then I'll be talking. Cheerio, Mr. Stratton. Cheerio, man. Hey, no problem. Indeed, my lord. On my way down the road, I met Stratton's young daughter and her nurse taking an evening stroll. Miss Myra Stratton was a most indiscreet person. In what way, my lord? She told me that she thought her father had been hunted, and when suddenly questioned about it, she said that he was out all last night. No, and he did not come home until lunchtime. Yeah, that is delicious, huh? Thank you, my lord. Hello, visitor. No, don't you bother, I'll see you with this.
Evening, my lord.
Just come in. Yeah, sit you down, tell me all. Fantastic. Could you give us something to fish?
Certainly, my lord. Thank you. Well, I've been making inquiries along the railway in accordance with your theory, my lord. But, first of all, I'd have you ken that young Jock from Borden saw Campbell painting at Wimsey as late as 5 minutes past 11 this morning.
When you say he saw Campbell, do you mean that he knew it was Campbell, or that he only thought it?
No, he doesn't ken Campbell, but he saw a man in a big black hat and a plaid coat like Campbell was wearing, and I thinks there's a big plaid or rug lying by the side of him.
Then it must have been a murder.
Aye, so it may. But it's the time of day I draw your attention to. Now, you'll admit that murder or no murder, he could not have left yon place till past 11 as a result.
That seems clear enough.
And now we come to the investigations concerning the railway. As your lordship pointed out, from Bard Hill our man could have caught a train either to Stranraer or to Glasgow. So far, nothing of consequence has turned up in the Stranraer direction.
And Glasgow?
Well, if your lordship we take a wee look at the timetable.
Train at 12:35.
Well, that would be just right, wouldn't it?
Aye, that's what I thought myself. That would give him an hour and a half for the bicycle journey. So, I telephoned to the station master at Bar Hill, and he told me there was only 4 passengers for that train, and he knowed them all personally.
Well, that rather puts them in, doesn't it?
Aye, but there's another thing. I didn't rest satisfied with that. I pursued my inquiries at the other stations along the line, and I found there was a gentleman with a bicycle caught that same train at Durban at 11 minutes past 1.
Have a look at the map. Down the hill, you're done. Bar Hill is 9 miles from the scene of the crime, and Durban, say, 12 miles further on. If he started at 11:10, that would give him 2 hours, which means just over 10 miles an hour. Well, easy enough for a cyclist. Did the station master give a description of it?
He said the gentleman spoke like an Englishman.
Did he? Oh, Waters is English. Strachan went to Harrow and Cambridge and has an English accent. Gowan speaks broad Scots with the natives, but English with me. But he's got a long black beard. Graham. Yes, he speaks like an Englishman too. Farron? No, he's unmistakably Scots. And as for Ferguson, well, he has a Scottish accent, but his idiom is English, and his features are totally nondescript. Well now, DL, I also, as the lady said, have not been idle.
Oh, my lord.
Here is my list of suspects, which admittedly may not be complete. Now, you will see I have outlined the nature of the quarrel each of them had with Campbell.
Aye, my lord.
So far, I've only discovered one alibi. For Ferguson, who was duly seen onto the 9/8 from Gatehouse. Strachan, on the other hand, was out all night and came home at lunchtime with a black eye. And what is more, he's telling lies about it. He might quite well have been painting up at the Millick at 11 o'clock and ridden back to Gatehouse by lunchtime. And as for the others, Waters, Gowan, Graham and Farron, well, I haven't even started on them.
Aye, it's a case with a great number of possibilities, my lord.
Yes.
A great number of possibilities.
It is, DL, indeed it is. And we have only just begun. Bunter?
My lord?
I'm worried about Mr. Waters. He was in a dangerous mood when I left him last night. I ought to find out what he's been up to. I think I'll just pop across the street and see him before he goes to bed.
Mr. Waters has gone to Glasgow, my lord.
What?
Yes, my lord, to see the exhibition of painting. I chanced to fall into conversation with his landlady this morning, and she informed me that he had left Kirkcudbright by the first train.
The 8:45? Well, after last night, I would hardly have expected such energy.
No, my lord.
Well, I hope there's nothing sinister about all this early activity.
I think not, my lord. According to his landlady, Mr. Waters travelled to Glasgow in the company of Miss Selby and Miss Cochrane from across the close.
Oh, that's a relief. He could hardly have gotten to mischief chaperoned by those ladies. Splendid. I think that's another of my suspects I can cross off the list.
Yes, my lord.
I wonder if he's back yet, though. Perhaps I'll wander down to his studio.
I passed the gentleman's studio a short while ago in the course of my evening walk, my lord. There were no lights on, and I concluded that Mr. Waters had not yet returned from Glasgow.
Oh?
Incidentally, my lord, while passing Mr. Farron's house, an odd incident caught my eye. The door was flung open, my lord, and a long bar of light suddenly streamed across the ground. Framed in the door, I observed the silhouette of a woman peering anxiously into the darkness.
Mrs. Farron?
Yes, my lord. At that moment, a man appeared, laid his hand on Mrs. Farron's shoulder, and drew her in, shutting the door.
Mr. Farron?
No, my lord. Mr. Strachan.
Episode 2. The body of Sandy Campbell has been found in a remote burn in the hills north of Newton Stewart in Galloway, and Lord Peter Wimsey is convinced he was murdered the night before by one of 6 artists with whom he'd recently quarrelled. The next morning, Wimsey calls on Sir Maxwell Jimmerson, the Chief Constable, to discuss his investigations.
Tell me, Wimsey, are you absolutely convinced there is a murder here to be investigated?
I am afraid I am, Chief, yes. What's more, I know the murderer was an artist, because while he was up at the Minnoch, he sat down and painted a very decent landscape in Campbell's style.
Sergeant D.L. came to see me last night and brought me your list of 6 suspects. A disagreeable document, in my view, and savouring strongly of the libellous.
I say, how exciting.
As you may think so. Nevertheless, all these people are highly respected citizens, Wimsey. Take Gowan, for instance. He's been a leading inhabitant of Kakubri for over 15 years. Is it likely he'd be found knocking his fellow artists on the head and tumbling them into salmon rivers in the neighbouring county? Or what possible motive could he have for it?
Campbell publicly insulted him about his painting. Told him he was a blunderer with a knife. To a man of Gowan's vanity, that could be unforgivable.
What about Waters, then? He's a pleasant enough young man, despite his South Country mannerisms. You say here he had a fight with Campbell. Well, surely that wouldn't turn him into a murderer.
Probably not, no. Besides, he seems to have a pretty good alibi for yesterday morning's part of the proceedings. Between 10 and 11 o'clock, I have it on reliable authority, he was travelling up to that big exhibition in Glasgow, chaperoned by my neighbours, Miss Selby and Miss Cochrane.
Oh, I'm pleased to hear it.
Ferguson also has an alibi. He was seen onto the 9-8 from Gatehouse, and there's no reason to suppose he didn't arrive in Glasgow.
What about the others?
Jock Graham? He had a fight with Campbell too, and ducked him in the Fleet. And they say he's been fishing the pool below Campbell's cottage all week just to annoy him.
Yes, Jock Graham. A harum-scarum, word and a blow fellow, if ever there was one. He's cool and clever enough to carry out a crime like this, Wimsey, I grant you.
And Farron?
Nobody could call Hugh Farron cool. Quite the reverse, indeed. He is hot-blooded enough to murder Campbell in a fit of rage.
And Campbell was rather devoted to Mrs. Farron, what?
Well, I don't know quite what you're implying by that, Wimsey. In my own opinion, one can hardly look at Mrs. Farron and believe evil of her.
Oh, I quite agree. Nevertheless, Farron was beastly jealous.
Granted, he was. And there's no doubt where women are concerned, you never know.
Quite. Incidentally, I think Farron has left home.
What on earth makes you say that?
My man Bunter walked past Farron's cottage by the old mill last night and saw Mrs. Farron in the doorway, peering out anxiously. Bunter considers she showed signs of distress, and Henry Strachan was by her side.
Strachan? Well, you're not suggesting...
Oh, no, of course not. But he is my 6th, and so far most suspect. He was out all Monday night and came back at lunchtime yesterday with a black eye. In addition, he lied to me about it. I don't know what he's been up to, or what, if anything, is going on between him and Mrs. Farron. But I intend to find out.
Oh, excuse me. Jameson?
Is it you, Sir Maxwell?
Yes?
Sergeant D.L. here from Newton Stewart.
Good morning, Sergeant. It's D.L., Wimsey. You'd better listen in on the extension. Well, Sergeant, do you have the doctor's report?
Aye, and it supports the theory of murder right enough. The doctor says Campbell would have been dead at least 6 hours when he examined the body, and more likely 12 or 13. That'll put the time of the murder in the late night or the early morning, at any rate between midnight and 9 o'clock. And a very suspicious and corroborating circumstance is that the man had no food in his wame at all.
Now that's very interesting, dear. I talked to Mrs. Green, Campbell's daily woman, and she told me that when she arrived at his cottage yesterday morning, there were remains of bacon and egg on the table, and a used teapot and cup. In other words, the murderer sat down and cold-bloodedly ate Campbell's breakfast for him.
Aye, my lord.
But what on earth for, Wimsey?
Well, at a guess, I'd say he didn't have an alibi for midnight, the time of the killing, but thought he could construct one for 11 o'clock in the morning, when Campbell was supposed to be up at the Minnoch.
It looks like that, my lord. Your lordship will be gratified by this support for our theory, eh?
It may be gratifying, but I wish very much it hadn't happened.
That's so, Sir Maxwell. Still, there's little doubt it has happened, and we must do the best we can by it. I have to pursue inquiries now about yon man with a bicycle who got on the Glasgow train at Girvan. I'll ring you again later, Sir Maxwell.
Thank you, dear. Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
Well, I'm afraid to say it looks as if you were right, Wimsey.
Yes. I think, Chief, the time has come to talk of many things with Mrs. Farron and Gowan and Waters when he returns. In fact, with all the good people of Kakubri. A little tactful gossip, Sir Maxwell, by a cheerful, friendly, inquisitive bloke like myself may do wonders.
There may be something in what you say, but you'll be discreet, mind. There's no need to mention the word murder.
Oh, no, none whatever. I let them mention it first. Well, toodaloo.
Lord Peter!
Hello, how are we, Mrs. Farron? Haven't seen you for an age. Well, since Friday night, but it seems like an age, what? Everything bright and brewing? Where's Farron?
I'm very well, thank you. Hugh's out. Won't you come in?
Well, that's very good of you. Thank you. Yeah, sure I'm not in the way. I expect you're weaving or spinning or something, aren't you?
Well, I'm afraid I'm being lazy today. I don't seem to be able to get down to anything.
Yeah, well, that is most unlike you, Mrs. Farron. Nothing wrong, I hope?
Oh, no.
Yeah, where has Farron disappeared to?
Oh, he's gone out somewhere.
The gay dog. Or is he working?
I don't quite know. You know what this place is. People go off saying they'll be back to dinner, and then they meet a man or somebody says the fish are rising somewhere, and that's the last you see of them.
Yes, I know. It's shameful. Do you mean he didn't even come back to his grub last night?
Oh, I was only speaking generally. He was home to dinner, all right.
Ah. And then barged out afterwards saying he wanted some cigarettes and would be back in 10 minutes, I suppose. Oh, it's disheartening, ain't it, the way we men behave?
Oh.
No, I mean it. I do think it's unfair. After all, one never knows what may happen to people. Look at poor Campbell.
Lord Peter, do tell me what really has happened. Jeannie came in with some frightful story about his being killed. But she gets so excited and talks such broad Scots that I really couldn't make it out.
Well, it's a fact, I'm afraid. They found him lying in the minnock yesterday afternoon with his head bashed in.
How dreadful.
I wonder you haven't heard about it before. He was a great friend of yours, wasn't he?
Well, yes. We knew him very well.
Are you all right, Mrs. Farron? Look here, I'm afraid this has been rather much of a shock for you. Let me get you some water.
No. I'm quite all right, Lord Peter, thank you. Quite all right. Well, we knew Mr. Campbell very well, of course, but after all, there's no reason for me to be so prostrated as all that. Oh, I'm afraid I may sound callous.
No, not at all. I only thought you looked a bit upset. I'm very glad you're not. Perhaps I misunderstood.
Perhaps you did. I was sorry for Mr. Campbell. I didn't like the man. One couldn't, but I tried to be fair, and I think he looked on me as his only friend. I dare say people did misunderstand, but one can't stop doing what's right because people misunderstand, can one?
No, good gracious me. I mean, if you and your husband...
Oh, Hugh and I understand one another.
Splendid. Well, let's hope the truant will turn up soon, what? I dare say I shall meet him as I buzz about the country. On his bike, as usual, I suppose?
Oh, yes, he's got his bicycle with him.
Nothing is so virtuous as a bicycle. You can't imagine a bicyclist committing a crime, can you? Except, of course, murder. Or attempted murder.
Why murder?
Well, I mean, you know, the way they rush about in gangs on the wrong side of the road and never have any brakes or bells or lights or anything. Well, I call it murder when they nearly have you in the ditch. Or suicide. Mrs. Farron, are you all right? She fainted, Butter. Fainted clean away. I think it was the word suicide that did it. She must be very worried about her husband.
I am not surprised, my lord. I chanced to run into Jeannie, the young person who cleans for Mrs. Farron this morning, while she was out for what the residents of this part of the world call, I believe, the messages. She was bursting with gossip, my lord, as young persons of her sex are wont to be, and informed me that Mr. Farron had not been home for 2 nights.
2 nights?
Yes, my lord. Apparently, the night before last, Mr. Farron returned home at about 6 o'clock and found Mr. Campbell on the premises. He sent him packing forthwith. There then followed what Jeannie referred to as a collie-shangy, my lord.
A disturbance? An uproar?
Yes, my lord. I deduced that was the meaning of the word. Mr. Farron walked about the room and waved his hands a great deal, and Mrs. Farron cried. Finally, my lord, after about an hour, Mr. Farron seized his hat, leapt on his bicycle, and rode away.
And hasn't been seen since?
Exactly, my lord.
That is just interesting, Bunter. You appreciate the importance of the bicycle?
Yes, my lord. It is your theory that after depositing Mr. Campbell's body in the burn, the murderer bicycled to the railway to catch a train, probably to Glasgow. Incidentally, my lord, in that connection, I paid a visit to the Anworth Hotel in Gatehouse of Fleet at the luncheon hour today. The landlord, Mr. Dignam, was complaining, my lord, that the bicycle belonging to his son Andy had been stolen on Monday night.
Stolen?
Yes, my lord.
Well, now, that might be very important, too. I think I had better pop over to the Anworth. I've got some investigating to do there anyway.
Very good, my lord.
I have been thinking, you see, Bunter, if my theory is correct about the murderer going into Campbell's cottage and eating his breakfast early yesterday morning, there is one man who could have been a witness to the whole thing. He's staying at the Anworth Hotel, and all night, every night for the last week, he has been fishing the pool just below Campbell's cottage.
Would you be alluding to Mr. Graham, my lord?
I would indeed. If anything untoward happened to Shay Campbell on Monday night, Jock Graham could hardly have failed to notice it.
No, my lord. I understand, my lord, that Mr. Graham was in Creetown on Monday night.
Well, Creetown may be en route, but it's still a far cry from there up to the Minnock.
Yes, my lord, but there is something else I learned. At 11:30 on Tuesday morning, my lord, Mr. Graham was observed near Bargrinnen walking down the far side of the Cree, as though coming from the scene of the crime.
Really? Well, I was intending to clear my wits with a round of golf this afternoon, Bunter, but I think I had better talk to Mr. Graham at once.
I would advocate the golf, my lord.
Why?
Since he was sighted on Tuesday morning, my lord, Mr. Graham has disappeared also.
Yoo-hoo! May we come in?
Miss Selby, Miss Cochran, delighted to see you. Yes, come on in, come in. I just returned from beating the Provost 5 and 3. Come along in and sit down.
Oh, Lord Peter, do tell us. I can't contain my curiosity any longer. Is it true what they're saying at the station, that Mr. Campbell has been murdered?
Oh, they're saying that, are they? Well, yes, it's true.
Good gracious. Oh, it's fortunate we've got an alibi, isn't it, Margaret?
Yes. We went off by the 8:45 yesterday morning, and we've got any amount of witnesses to show that we were in Glasgow between then and now, so I imagine we're all right. What a relief to know we can't possibly be suspected.
No. You two and Waters are out of the running all right, I fancy.
Oh, where was Mr. Waters?
Wasn't he with you?
With us?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but, Mrs. Doings, you know, his landlady, what's her name, told Bunter Waters had gone with you two to Glasgow.
She must have got hold of the wrong end of the stick. Well, he said on Sunday evening that he might possibly turn up, but he didn't. So we thought he'd changed his mind.
Isn't he here then, Lord Peter?
Well, as a matter of fact, he's not. And that means another of our suspects has disappeared.
You'd better ask Mr. Ferguson. He may have run across Mr. Waters somewhere in Glasgow.
Oh, Ferguson was there, was he?
I see another of your suspects. Aye, he was there. And I believe we can give you the precise time we saw him. We'd arranged to meet Margaret's sister Kathleen and her husband at St. Enos Station just after 2, so we didn't get to the exhibition until just on 4:30, Margaret? Aye. And in the first room, whom should we see but Mr. Ferguson, just coming out. So, of course, we spoke to him, and he said he'd been through the rooms pretty thoroughly once and was coming back next day. However, he went round once again with us.
I suppose he really had been through the place already.
Oh, yes. Yes, because he told us beforehand where everything was and mentioned the ones he liked. He came in on the same train as we did. Only I suppose he would go straight up to the exhibition.
The same train? Look, wait a moment. Ferguson caught the 9:08 from Gatehouse.
That's right, but he would have to change at Dumfries and join our train.
Did you see him at Dumfries?
No, but that doesn't mean he wasn't there. Anyhow, he saw us at Glasgow if we didn't see him, because the first thing he said when we met him was, "I saw you at the station, but you didn't see me. Was that Kathleen and her good man with you?" And then he mentioned that he'd been on the same train.
Pretty good. Well, as you say, we'll have to see Ferguson. I mean, the police will have to see Ferguson.
Oh, you can't deceive me, Lord Peter. You're in it up to the eyes. If the truth were told, I dare say you did it yourself.
No, Miss Cochrane. This is about the only murder I couldn't possibly have committed. I haven't the artistic skill.
I don't mind telling you, Wimsey, that I'm greatly disturbed about all this business. That one or two of your suspects should have no good alibis is only what one might expect, but that practically all of them should be open to suspicion really bewilders me.
Dear me.
Strachan was out all night and has no explanation. Graham has disappeared.
Yeah.
Farren has disappeared. Now you tell me Waters has disappeared. Ferguson is still in Glasgow, and now Gowan.
He hasn't disappeared too.
Yes, in a manner of speaking.
What?
It appears he's gone to London, but there are some vaguely suspicious circumstances. Inspector Macpherson of Kirkcudbright called round to interview him this afternoon and elicited the details from Alcock, Gowan's English butler.
Mr. Gowan left for London on Monday night.
Monday night?
That is what I said.
At what time on Monday night?
Mr. Gowan took the 8:45 train from Dumfries.
8:45? Well, that'll have to be verified, of course. I think I had best step in for a moment.
As you wish.
Now then, your name is...
Hallcock.
H-A-L-L...
There is no H in the name, officer. Hay is the first letter, and there's only one L.
I beg your pardon.
Granted.
Well, now tell me, Mr. Alcock, just as a pure formality, you understand, what time did Mr. Gowan leave Kirkcudbright on Monday night?
It would be shortly after 8.
Who drove him?
Ammon, the chauffeur.
Did Mr. Gowan dine before leaving?
No. I understood Mr. Gowan to say that he would be dining on the train.
On the train? You say he took the 8:45 from Dumfries?
So I was given to understand.
But, man, are you not aware that the 8:45 doesn't make any connection with London? It arrives in Carlisle at 9:59, which is very late to get dinner. And after that, there's no train to London till 5 minutes past 12. So, therefore, did he not take his dinner here? I catch the 11:08 at Dumfries.
I could not undertake to say. Mr. Gowan did not inform me. Possibly Mr. Gowan had some business to transact at Carlisle.
Ah, maybe so. Well, now, I would like to speak a word with Hammond.
Very good. Excuse me one moment. Betty?
Yes, Mr. Alcock?
Could you run out to the garage and inform Hammond that his presence is required by the inspector?
Yes, Mr. Alcock.
Just a moment. Betty, my lass, come here.
Yes, sir. Me, sir?
Ah, you. Now tell me, what time did Mr. Gowan leave here on Monday night?
About 8 o'clock, sir.
Did he dine before he went?
Can I just charge my memory, sir?
Come, my girl, surely you can remember that. There's nothing to be frightened about.
No, Mr. Alcock. No?
No. You are quite sure about that? Mr. Gowan did not dine at home on Monday?
No.
Then run and give Hammond the message. Unless the inspector wants to ask you anything further.
Oh, thank you. Goodbye, Betty.
Goodbye, sir.
A good girl, but slow in the uptake, if you understand me.
Mr. Alcock, did Mr. Gowan give any address?
The Marlstick Club, Piccadilly. Ah, Hammond, come here.
Yes, Mr. Alcock?
This is Inspector Macpherson. He's making some routine inquiries and wishes to ask you a few questions.
All right. Fire away.
Mr. Hammond, did you drive Mr. Gowan anywhere on Monday last?
That's right. Drove him to Dumfries.
What time?
8 o'clock for the 8:45.
Did you see him get into the train?
Oh, no. He walked into the station and told me to cut along home.
What time was that?
8:35. As near as makes no difference.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. This is nothing at all, you understand, but just a simple formality.
Oh, that's all right. Finney?
What's that?
I says Finney, meaning is that okay, complete? Have you done?
Oh, there's no more wanting from you at the moment.
Well, cheerio then.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alcock.
Don't mention it. Good evening, Inspector.
And Macpherson is in no doubt, Wimsey, that the girl had been instructed in her answers. Every time she said anything, she glanced nervously at Alcock for approval.
Very interesting. Now, why should Gowan suddenly want to spend over 2 hours in Carlisle waiting for a train to London?
You think he could have hired a car and driven home to murder Campbell?
No, I don't know. But the first thing for Inspector Macpherson to do was to make inquiries at Dumfries Station. They won't have forgotten Gowan, not with that big black beard. Ah, is that you, Bunter?
Yes, my lord. My lord?
Bunter, you look positively excited. What's the matter?
I've just been interviewing Mrs. MacLeod, my lord, Mr. Waters' landlady across the close. I was endeavouring to discover why she had informed me that Mr. Waters had gone to Glasgow with Miss Selby and Miss Cochrane.
And why had she?
Mrs. MacLeod misled me, my lord, though I believe unintentionally. Apparently, Mr. Waters did ask to be called early yesterday morning and did make the remark that he was thinking of accompanying the ladies to Glasgow.
Is that all?
No, my lord. Further inquiries brought to light a very remarkable circumstance. On Monday night, sometime between 11 and midnight, Mrs. MacLeod heard somebody throwing pebbles at Mr. Waters' bedroom window. Shortly afterwards, Mr. Waters appeared in the street, dressed in a sweater and trousers, and he and the man got into the latter's car and drove off. About 3/4 of an hour later, Mrs. MacLeod heard the door open softly again, and footsteps tiptoeing up the stairs into Mr. Waters' bedroom. Nothing more happened after that, my lord, until 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning, when she put Mr. Waters' breakfast in the sitting-room. 20 minutes later it had been eaten, and Mr. Waters had gone. But, my lord, he had gone, ostensibly to see an exhibition in Glasgow, in an old sweater, a pair of grey flannel trousers, tennis shoes, and an old Burberry. And, my lord, he took his bicycle with him.
Good Lord.
What do you make of all that, Wimsey?
Well, I don't know, Chief. That the man in the street was Campbell, come back to finish out his quarrel with Waters? That they went off together to fight it out? That in the row, Campbell got his head bashed in? That Waters then concealed the body somewhere, and that next morning he put the body and the bicycle in Campbell's car and hurried off to the Minnock to fake the accident? Well, that's all possible, and I will admit that the circumstances seem to fit the crime. Except perhaps for one point. Where is Waters?
Eh?
If all that is true, Chief, where is Waters? He ought to have been here yesterday, blatantly establishing his entire innocence. What is the good of concocting an elaborate fake like that and then drawing suspicion on yourself by running away?
Oh, perhaps he got cold feet when he'd done it. Anyhow, your objection applies to them all, except Strachan and possibly Ferguson.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Well, Chief, I regret to say you will have to send out the hue and cry after Waters.
I suppose I shall. And I suppose it'll mean Scotland Yard, though I'd rather we could work it ourselves. Macpherson is a good man, and so is DL.
Oh, no, that reminds me. Any more news of the man with the bicycle who took the train at Girvan?
No, except that they've checked the tickets and decided that he went to Ayr all right. The bicycle ticket appears to have been given up too, though we can't trace any ticket collector who remembers anything about it. It would be much easier if we knew what kind of bicycle we were looking for.
Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get hold of some exact descriptions. Mrs. MacLeod ought to know what Waters' bike looked like, and Mrs. Farron can no doubt tell us about her husband's.
Excuse me, my lord.
Yes, Bunter.
You are not overlooking the Raleigh bicycle that was stolen from Master Andy at the Anwath Hotel?
No, Bunter, I'm not. It can be put off no longer. Whether Jock Graham is there or not, I am going to Gatehouse this evening. Jock! There you are after all. Where did you spring from, you old ruffian?
That's just what this blasted policeman seems to want to know.
Ah, is that Constable Duncan I see in the gloaming?
Yes, my lord.
Now, you know him, do you, Wimsey? Well, call him off, for God's sake. I don't seem to be allowed to go away on a little private matter without being subjected to police persecution. Now, what's it all about?
Having received orders to make an inquiry...
But you haven't received orders to make a mystery, have you? Now, what's the matter? Am I supposed to have committed a crime? What is it? Drunk and disorderly, eh? Or riding a push-bike without a tail light? Or driving to the public danger, or what?
Well, now, Mr. Graham, sir, in the matter of the bicycle, I would be glad to know...
Ah, not guilty this time. And in any case, borrowing isn't stealing, you know.
Have you been borrowing push-bikes, Jock? You shouldn't, you know. It's a bad habit. Push-bikes are the curse of this country. Their centre of gravity is too high for one thing, and their brakes are never in order for another.
I know, it's shameful. Every bicycle I borrow is worse than the last. I often have to speak quite firmly about it. I nearly broke my neck the other day on young Andy's.
Oh, it's you who's got young Andy's, is it?
What? Oh, no, not this time. No. I'll never borrow his miserable machine again till he has the decency to put it in order. If someone has taken it, God help him, that's all I can say. He'll probably be found dead in a ditch.
That may be, Mr. Graham, but I'd be glad if you would tell me of your whereabouts.
Damn it, no, I will not tell you where I have been. Why should I?
Well, it's like this, old dear. You may possibly not have heard in your mysterious retreat, but Campbell was found dead in a river yesterday afternoon.
Campbell? Lord, no, I hadn't heard. Well.
Apparently he'd been painting and slipped on the stones and bashed his head in.
Oh.
How have you managed not to hear about it, Jock? Where have you been hiding these last 2 days?
And that's telling. You're as inquisitive as our friend here, Wimsey. I've been living a retired life, no scandal, no newspapers. But do tell me about Campbell. Now, when did all this happen?
They found the body about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and he seems to have been alive and painting at 11:05 in the morning.
Well, they didn't lose much time about it, then. Still, it is a fairly well-frequented spot up there at the Minnock. Being the fishing season, at any rate. I don't suppose...
Excuse me, sir. How did you ken, might I ask, that the accident took place up at the Minnock?
Eh?
How did you ken that it was the Minnock?
Episode 3, Bicycles. Lord Peter Wimsey is convinced that Sandy Campbell was murdered by one of the 6 artists with whom he'd recently quarrelled. The day after the discovery of Campbell's body in the Minnock, a remote burn in Galloway, Jock Graham, one of the 6 suspects, lets slip to Wimsey and Constable Duncan that he knows rather more than he pretends.
Come on now, Jock. Put us out of our misery. You can see the suspense is telling on us. You say you've been hiding and out of contact for the last 2 days. So how do you know Campbell was found up at the Minnock?
Aye, sir. And I'm asking you officially, how did you ken?
Ah, it's a suspicious circumstance, isn't it? Well, I'll tell you. I knew Campbell was going to be up at the Minnock yesterday because he told me so.
Oh, he told you so, sir?
Yes, why not? I did sometimes speak to Campbell without throwing boots at him, you know. He told me on Monday that he was going up the next day to paint the bridge.
If that is the case, sir...
Yes?
Well, sir, if you knew where Mr. Campbell was yesterday morning, I must insist that you now answer my original question. Where have you been for the past 2 days? As a matter of routine, sir.
Oh, not again. This lad's one of the bulldog breed, Wimsey. Constable, I was not up at the Minnock, but where I was is my affair.
Do I understand, sir, that you refuse categorically to state where you have been from Monday night until now?
Got it at last. We're slow but sure in this country, Wimsey. That's right. I refuse categorically, absolutely, in toto and entirely. Make a note of it in case you forget it.
I'll have to be reporting this to the authorities, sir.
Right. I'll have a word with them. And now, Constable, if you have no objection, I shall retire into my hotel. Good night. Night, Wimsey.
Good night, Jock. Never mind, Duncan. You know what Graham's like. He's a great lad for the ladies. That's probably the explanation.
Aye, my lord.
Well, I'm going into the hotel, too. You'll join me for one at the bar?
Oh, thank you, sir.
I actually came over to inquire into the disappearance of young Andy's rally bicycle. Must get all the details.
Excuse me for asking, my lord, but, no one has explained to me. What exactly is the importance of the bicycle in this case?
Well, it's perfectly simple. If my theory is correct, the only way the murderer could have got away from the Minnoch after depositing Campbell's body therein was by cycling to the railway. Sergeant DL is investigating the movements of a chappie with a push-bike who caught a train at Girvan and went on at least to Ayr. But if the machine is to be traced, we need a description of all those which have gone missing in the last 48 hours.
And how many bicycles have gone missing, my lord?
3. 2 belonging to suspects, Mr. Farron and Mr. Waters, who have disappeared with them, and 1 belonging to young Andy here. And it was stolen on Monday night, Constable, the night of the murder.
Good morning, Inspector.
Good morning, my lord. Sergeant DL asked me to thank you for the details of the bicycle stolen from the Anworth Hotel.
Did he manage to dig out descriptions of the other 2?
Aye, my lord. Mr. Waters' machine is a Humber, very old and rusty, according to his landlady, while Mr. Farron's is clean and well kept.
Did he go round to see Mrs. Farron?
Aye, my lord.
How was she?
Oh, fine.
When I gave her the news about Campbell yesterday, she was deuced upset. And when I accidentally dropped the word suicide into the conversation, she fainted. Well, I hope she's better now.
Oh, I think so, my lord. But I reckon Mrs. Farron is still more than a wee bit worried about yon husband of hers upping and disappearing like that. When DL asked her about the bicycle, she claimed she didn't even know the make. But DL thinks she kens fine there's some importance to be attached to the machine, but she doesn't ken what to say about it.
So where did he get the description?
From one of the bicycle shops near the Toll Booth. Here it is. Raleigh, not new but in good condition. Black, new Dunlop tyre, fitted a back wheel a few weeks ago. Bell, brakes, lamps and brackets, all in good order.
Yeah, that seems detailed enough.
And Constable Ross has just telephoned from Ayr.
Excuse me.
Oh, what can I do for you?
I'd like to have a word with Inspector Macpherson, please.
Macpherson, can I help?
Aye. It's about Mr. Farron and poor Mr. Campbell, what was murdered.
We're just talking about Farron. Very good. What's your name?
Mayor. Jamie Mayor. I have a wee farm just beyond Twinholme.
Aye, Kenny, aye. Well, carry on, Mr. Mayor. What have you got to tell us?
Well, it was Monday night, about 9 o'clock. I was having a dram in the Mary Arms in Gatehouse when Mr. Farron came in, looking very wild and queer, and he shouted, "Where's that bastard Campbell?" Begging your pardon, gentlemen.
Not at all.
Was Campbell there?
No, sir. When Mr. Farron saw that, he calmed down a wee bit and had a whisky or 2. I'm thinking from what he said that the quarrel had to do with Mistress Farron, poor lady.
I'll not be surprised. Early in the evening, Farron had thrown Campbell out of his house. How long did he stay, Mr. Mayor?
About 10 minutes. Then he asked again where Campbell was, so I told him I'd seen him taking the road to Creetown.
Creetown? But at 9 o'clock Campbell was in the McClellan Arms here in Kirkcudbright. I was there too, I know.
Aye, sir, I kenned that, for I'd been in there earlier, but Farron was in a dangerous mood, very dangerous, so I thought to send him in the opposite direction.
I see. So Farron went off to Creetown?
No, sir. When he left on his bicycle, he started back in this direction again. I dinna ken wherefore. I was a wee bit worried, so I began to follow him, that at the War Memorial he suddenly turned left up the road towards the golf links. I didn't follow him further after that, as I kent he wouldn't find Campbell up there. But that was the last I saw of him.
Very interesting, Mr. Mayor.
Aye, we'll look into it straight away. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll contact you again if we need you.
Thank you, Inspector. Good day to you.
Good morning.
Now, why should Farron go up towards the links, Inspector?
I can't imagine what... Except... Well, that's where Harry Strachan lives up that road, and Farron and Strachan are particularly friendly.
Yes. Now, what are Farron's movements on the evening in question so far? 6 o'clock, he finds Campbell with Mrs. Farron, leaps to the wrong conclusion, and slings Campbell out. From 6 to 7, he argues with his wife. At 7 o'clock, he charges off on his bicycle, and then 2 hours later he suddenly appears in Gatehouse, still yelling for Campbell's blood. What, I wonder, was he doing between 7 and 9?
Oh, goodness say, my lord. But, to return to the matter of the bicycle, my lord. Well, Constable Ross reported from Ayr just before you arrived. The guard on the train from Stranraer is certain that the bicycle belonging to the traveller had relatively new tyres. So it could well be Farron's.
Say it could. But it could be the Anworth one, too. What about the traveller? Has Ross tracked him down yet?
No, he was last seen going towards the exit at Ayr Station. After that, he vanished.
Everybody seems to be doing that, don't they? Vanishing, I mean. Of my 6 suspects, Farron, Waters and Garn have disappeared in suspicious circumstances. Jock Graham did the same, but has now returned. Ferguson is still in Glasgow, and only Strachan has been around since the murder.
Mr. Ferguson returned also last night, my lord.
Oh, did he? What have we got on him?
Virtually nothing, my lord. Sergeant Dale has been in Glasgow this morning checking all the railway tickets. Mr. Ferguson's first-class return from Gatehouse was duly punched at Maxwell Town, Hurlford and Mauchline, and given up at Glasgow, which is more or less definite proof that he was on the train all Tuesday morning when the murderer was up at the Minnoch pretending to be Campbell painting.
An alibi, eh? Well, there's only one thing to do with an alibi, and that's to go along and test it.
Yes, my lord.
After all, Ferguson may be able to account for himself on Tuesday morning, but what about Monday night, when Campbell was actually murdered? Ferguson lives next door to him. He must at least have heard something. I think I'll pop over to Gatehouse and find out.
Oh, what is it?
Good morning, Mr. Ferguson. I don't know if you remember me. My name's Wimsey. I fancy we met once at Bob Anderson's.
Yes, of course, sir. Come in. When I heard you knock, I thought you were going to be a pound of sausages or the man from the greengrocer's. I'm afraid the place is in rather a mess. I've been away for a couple of days, and Mrs. Green seized the opportunity to tidy up, with the result that I've had to spend a couple of hours untidying it again. I never can find anything I want in a tidy studio.
And now I've come barging in and interrupting you just as you're settling down to paint, right?
Oh, not a bit. It doesn't worry me. I'll just continue if you don't mind.
Indeed.
Find yourself a seat.
Yeah, thank you. Been in Glasgow, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Ran up to look at the show.
Is it a good one?
Oh, not bad. Craig's got some fine studies, and that's a good thing of Donaldson's. The usual allowance of duds, of course. I really went to see the Farquharsons.
And now you've come back to find you've lost your next-door neighbour.
Yes, I don't care to think too much about that. Campbell and I were not exactly in the best of terms, but I wish he could have departed some other way.
It's all rather queer, ain't it? I suppose you've had the police round, you were asking the usual question.
Oh, yes. Apparently it's just as well I had an alibi. Look here, Wimsey. Tell me one thing, and it's no good you pretending you don't know, because you do. Is there any doubt at all that Campbell died the same morning that he was found?
Whatever makes you ask that?
Well, why can't you give me a straightforward answer?
It seems such a damn funny question. I mean, oh, well, of course. Didn't they tell you about the picture?
What picture?
Yeah, the picture that Campbell had been painting. The paint was still wet on it when they found him, you see. So he must have been alive on Tuesday morning, or he couldn't have painted it, could he? Besides, he was seen up at the Minnoch as late as 11 o'clock. You can't mistake that great cloak and hat of his, can you?
No. Well, they didn't tell me that. Well, that settles it, of course. Could you pass me that paint rag?
What made you ask?
Thank you. Well, the police have been asking questions. Not just about Tuesday, but about Monday night too. And I had to admit that I was here, and then they became damnably inquisitive.
Did they? Well, I'm blessed.
That was why I wanted to know. It's extremely unpleasant if there's any doubt about Campbell having been alive on the Tuesday morning.
Yes, I see your point. Well, as far as I know, anybody who has a complete alibi for Tuesday morning is perfectly safe.
Oh, I'm glad of that. In that case...
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fact is, Wimsey, there are one or two things I didn't tell those police fellows. Perhaps I'd better spill the beans to you, and then you can say whether I ought to mention it. I'm not particularly anxious to make trouble for anyone, but on the other hand, I don't want to be an accessory or anything.
If my opinion's worth anything, I'd say cough it up. After all, if anybody did do the poor devil in, it's rather up to one to get it detected and so on, what?
Yes, sir. If I only knew why they wanted to know about Monday night.
Well, they wanted to find the last person who saw the man alive. It's always done. It's part of the regular show.
Ah.
Well, what is it you didn't let on about?
One or two things. I heard Campbell come in a little after 10. I told him that. But then, just after midnight, somebody else knocked at his door and went in. I didn't know who it was, and I didn't bother to get up and look.
And where did this person go?
Oh, I've no idea how long he or she stayed.
She?
Well, it could have been. Now, what have I done with that tube of cobalt? Yes, it could have been a she. There were women in Campbell's life, I'm sure. Ah. You've heard all the talk about Campbell and Mrs. Farron, I expect. Not that there's anything in it. I think Campbell was fond of her in his way, but she's much too high-minded to get herself into trouble. Everyone can see that, apart from Farron. He was beastly jealous of Campbell's attentions.
So I've heard. So this midnight visitor is the only piece of evidence you withheld from the police?
No. I don't see that it could have anything to do with Campbell's murder, but... Well, there was a sort of hullabaloo next door early in the evening, about 8 o'clock.
Was there? What sort of hullabaloo?
Well, a fellow came round banging on Campbell's door and using language. Campbell was out, rather fortunately, because I gathered there was a perfectly good shindy brewing.
What happened?
Well, I stuck my head out and told this fellow not to make such a filthy row, and he asked me where the something or other that, Campbell was. I said I hadn't seen him all day and asked him to remove himself. So then he started on some rigmarole about all the nasty things he would do to Campbell, both inside and out, if once he laid hands on him. Well, it was obvious he didn't really mean it, so I didn't pay much attention. Eventually, I told him to forget about it, and he told me to go and do this and that to myself, and by that time I get fed up. So I retorted that he could go away and hang himself, and he said that was exactly what he was going to do, only he must slay Campbell first.
Who was this fellow?
Well, I suppose I shall have to tell you. As a matter of fact, well, I'm afraid it was Farron.
Inspector Macpherson!
Aye?
My wee daughter has something to tell you. Come along in and speak civilly to the policeman or they'll have you locked up. I kenned fine she'd been up to some mischief, and I wouldn't rest while I got it out of her. She's a bad girl, stravaiging about the country with the laddies when she should be in her bed. But they'll no listen to their mothers these days. You can't do anything with them.
That's true enough. Now, could I be having your name?
Mrs. McGregor, I am, and we have our cottage between Gatehouse and Kirkcudbright. You ken the place nearby Auchenhay. Me and my man was away to Kirkcudbright last Monday night, and Helen was alone at home. And no sooner were we away than she's away out, leaving the door open behind her as light as not for anybody to come in.
George, just a moment. This wee lassie will be Helen, I'm thinking.
Yes,
that's Helen. I thought it best to bring her, seeing as this poor Mr. Campbell's been put out of the way, so the postman says. And I says to George, if Mr. Campbell was fighting on the road on Monday night, then the police ought to know about it. And George says...
Mistress McGregor... Now, if your wee Helen can tell us something about Mr. Campbell, we'd like fine to hear it. Right. But we'll just let the lassie tell us her own tale from the beginning. Come along, Helen. Don't be frightened now. Speak up.
I said, we was playing in the field, sir. Me and the boys from the farm.
Which field, Helen?
The one near the main road, sir. Where there's a big bend, you ken, and the big walls.
You'll be meaning the S-bend about halfway between Gatehouse and Kirkcudbright.
I said, the boys was away on the other side of the field, but I had to go home as it was 10:15, sir.
How did you know that?
Alistair. He's got a new watch from his grandpa, sir. He told me.
10:15. Very good. So what happened, Helen?
I walked to the road and I saw a man in a car which had stopped, sir. Then I heard another car coming from Gatehouse, and suddenly the man drove his car into the middle of the road and the other car had to stop. It nearly crashed. And then the man spoke, and then the other man said... Campbell, of course. It would be Campbell, sir.
So Mr. Campbell was the first man you saw, the one who drove into the middle of the road?
Aye, sir. Then they both got out of their cars, sir, and started fighting. I couldn't see, sir, because they were behind the cars, and I was scared.
Tell the policeman about the spanner.
Oh, aye. Well, while they was fighting, sir, suddenly a big spanner flew in the air, and it almost hit me. sir.
Did you touch it?
Oh, no, sir. I was scared. And then I looked up, sir, after a wee bit, sir. And one of the men was getting up and carrying the other one on his shoulders. I think he was dead, sir, because he just hung there.
Aye. And what did this man do with the body?
He put it in the car, sir.
Which car, lass? The one you'd seen first, Mr. Campbell's, or the one which had driven up from the direction of Gatehouse?
The second one, sir. And then he drove off, sir, back towards Gatehouse. And then, about 2 minutes later, I heard footsteps, sir, and I thought it was the man coming back, and I was very scared, so I ran home, sir, all the way, sir.
And that is all?
No, sir. Just when I got home at 5 minutes past 10, sir, 'cause I looked at the clock in the kitchen in case I was late, a car came past very fast towards Kirkcudbright, sir. But I didn't see it, sir. I just jumped into bed and pulled the clothes over my head. I was so scared, sir.
Campbell must have been murdered rather earlier than the doctor calculated. In fact, about 9:45.
I still don't quite understand this car business, Macpherson. You see, the murderer put the body into his own car and drove off back towards Gatehouse, returning on foot. What, a couple of minutes later?
So it would appear, my lord.
Having left the car and the body concealed somewhere by the side of the road, I suppose.
Aye, my lord, aye.
Well, why, Inspector? Why do you think he did that?
In order to remove Mr. Campbell's car as quickly as possible from the scene of the crime, my lord. No doubt he drove it back to Gatehouse and returned by bicycle.
Yes. But why didn't he put Campbell's body into Campbell's car and drive it off? Why court discovery by leaving the body in his own car? And while we're about it, who was the man in the third car whom Helen heard driving furiously towards Kirkcudbright 10 minutes later? He may not have anything to do with the case, of course, but at the very least he must have passed the murderer on the road.
Aye, my lord, that's so. He'll have to be found.
Indeed. Now then, next question. How does all this fit in with the evidence about Farron?
Good heavens, my lord, of course. The times fit perfectly.
Do they?
Aye, my lord. See, Farron was last seen about 9:15 going up the road to the golf links.
Yeah, on his bicycle there, Macpherson. Where did he acquire a car from by 9:45?
But that's the point, my lord. He borrowed Strachan's car. That's why he was going up that road. Obviously, he'd seen through Mr. Mayor's story about Campbell being away to Creetown and decided that he must be in Kirkcudbright after all. So rather than bicycle all the way back, he went up to see Strachan and borrow his car.
Yeah, well, that certainly makes sense.
Another thing, my lord. Now, this explains everything. The taking of the wrong car, the leaving the body, everything. The reason Farron left Campbell's body in Strachan's car by the side of the road was that at that point he was intending to put the guilt of the murder onto Strachan.
Yeah, now, wait a moment, Inspector, wait a moment. Is that likely? Surely all Strachan would have to do when accused in those circumstances would be to tell how he lent the car to Farron, and that would be the end of that.
I dare say Farron realised that while driving Campbell's car back to Gatehouse. No doubt that was when he got the idea of faking the accident up at the Minnoch.
Yes. Well, let's run through Hugh Farron's movements again. 6 o'clock turns Campbell out of the house. 7 o'clock leaves home on his bicycle. 8 o'clock, according to Ferguson, arrives at Campbell's cottage threatening murder and mayhem. 9 o'clock, he enters the Murray Arms, still looking for Campbell. 9:15, bicycles up to Strachan's house and borrows his car. 9:45, accidentally meets Campbell on the Gatehouse Kirkcudbright Road, fights with him and murders him. And 10 o'clock puts Campbell's body into Strachan's car and himself drives Campbell's car back to Gatehouse. Yeah, so far so reasonable. What does he do then, Inspector?
Well, after putting Campbell's car in the garage, I would think he walked up to Strachan's and collected his bicycle.
Yes?
Then he bicycled to the scene of the crime, put the machine in the car and drove back to Campbell's house. Now there, his main task was, of course, to remove the body from the car and hide it, either in the house or in the garage. Then he returned Strachan's car to its owner. And finally, he came back to Campbell's cottage to prepare evidence of Campbell's having spent the night and breakfasted there.
All of which could have been accomplished by midnight?
Aye, my lord.
So Farron, in fact, visited Strachan's house 3 times, to collect the car, pick up his bicycle, and return the car. Well, someone must have seen or heard him. Even if Strachan refuses information or lies stoutly in defence of his friend, there are still Mrs. Strachan and their daughter and the maid.
Very true, my lord. And, of course, Mr. Farron also visited Mr. Campbell's cottage 3 times. First to return the car, second to bring in the body, and third, on foot, to fake the evidence.
Yes. Well, Ferguson heard someone coming in at midnight, so it looks as if the third of those is accounted for. Funny he didn't hear anything of the 2 visits by car. Well, I suppose he must have been asleep.
Aye, my lord.
All the same, that looks pretty impressive to me, Inspector. Farron looks like your man.
Aye, clear as daylight. Poor Farron. He must have been in a rare way to go and do such a thing. It's a pity we lost so much time. It's 100 to 1 he's out of the country by now.
Out of the country, or out of the world?
My lord?
Well, that's what he said to Ferguson. That he was going to kill Campbell and then do away with himself.
Aye. He often says it and doesn't do it. But whiles they do it all the same.
Yes.
Now, I'm thinking we'll not be far wrong if we send a search party up into those hills behind Creetown, my lord. You'll mind the sad affair there was a year or 2 ago with a poor woman who threw herself down one of the old lead mines. How do you ken, my lord? I'm thinking this will be just the very thing that Mr. Farron's fearing, though she doesn't like to say so.
No, I absolutely agree. I think she believes her husband's killed himself and daren't say so because she suspects he may have done the murder. Well, you better get your sleuth hounds up there at once, Inspector. Yeah, oh, and another thing.
My lord?
Yeah, it suddenly occurred to me. There's a piece of hugely important evidence lying to hand, if only we can bother to go and collect it.
What would that be, my lord?
The murder weapon. The heavy spanner that nearly laid out little Helen. It's almost certainly still by the side of the road.
My lord, we must go and pick it up at once. Excuse me. Macpherson!
Hello, Inspector. It's Ross here again from here.
Ross, aye. What have you got for us now? My lord, you'd like to pick up the extension.
It's about yon bicycle and the traveller, sir. Something very odd's been going on.
What have you found out? Well, the traveller now, he was last seen walking briskly towards the station exit.
Aye, sir. Carrying an attaché case. He was then seen disappearing down a small side street in which there's nothing but the back entrances of warehouses and a public convenience. 2 minutes later, the bookstall clerk saw a man in a soft felt hat and a Burberry pass by, going towards the booking hall.
And you think this is the same man? That he put the Burberry on, perhaps on the convenience?
Aye, sir.
Where did he go after that?
I dinna ken, sir. There were 6 trains leaving here in the half-hour following, and he could have been on any of them. Well, except the 154 to Glasgow.
Why not that one?
Because of the bicycle, sir.
What bicycle?
Well, let me explain. The 154 is the same train as the one the traveller arrived on, the one from Stranraer. Now, he waits 6 minutes at here, and then goes on to Glasgow. Now then, at 2:20, about half an hour after it had left, a porter noticed a man's bicycle leaning against the wall in the station. The bicycle was labelled for Euston.
What happened to it?
Oh, well, sir, at 5 o'clock it was still there, and as it was correctly labelled, the porter put it on the Euston train. But the point is, sir, during the 6 minutes the train from Stranraer was in the station, that bicycle couldn't have been labelled, as there was a porter on duty by the case containing labels, and he swears no bicycle passed through his hands. Now, furthermore, even after 154, no porter remembers labelling the bicycle.
So you're suggesting that Traveller relabelled it himself after the 154 had departed?
So it would seem, sir.
Did you obtain a description of the machine?
Aye, sir. It was a rally with good tyres.
I see. Well, we must telephone Euston and see if it arrived.
I've already done that, sir. From Ayr Police Station. It did. And it's in the left luggage office at Euston.
Still?
Aye, sir. I doubt whether anyone will be collecting it now.
No. Well, thank you, Ross. You've done a good job. I think you'd better return here.
Very good, sir. Goodbye.
Bye, Ross. My lord, did you hear that? A rally with good tyres.
Sounds like the Anne with the tail machine to me, Inspector.
No. If yours not Farron's bicycle, I'll eat my heart.
Inspector, here's a telephone message from Creetown.
What is it, Inspector?
A bicycle's been found up on the hills by Foul Bay, near the disused lead mines I was telling you about. And it's Hugh Farron's. His name's written on a label on the handlebars. My lord, he really has done away with himself.
Episode 4, Bunter Investigates. Lord Peter Wimsey is investigating the murder of Sandy Campbell, an unpopular Galloway artist. He and Inspector Macpherson of Kirkcudbright are putting together a case against Hugh Farron, another painter, when they learn that Farron's bicycle has been found abandoned near some disused lead mines, suggesting he may have committed suicide. At this moment, Wimsey's friend, Chief Inspector Parker, arrives.
Charles, how extraordinary. What brings you to Scotland?
Hello, Peter. Well, I had to come up to Dumfries yesterday for a conference, so I thought I'd pop over to see you before getting the night train back. Bunter told me I'd find you at the police station. You've got yourself involved in another murder case, he says.
I have indeed. This is Inspector Macpherson of the local force. Macpherson, Chief Inspector Parker of Scotland Yard.
Afternoon, Inspector.
Very pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Parker. I'm afraid you've come on us at a sad moment.
Oh, why is that?
Well, one of our suspects has... well, a wee bit difficult to explain.
You better begin at the beginning, Macpherson. Mr. Parker will have to know. We've been wanting him to keep watch on that bicycle at Euston for us.
Aye, my lord. Well, Mr. Parker, beginning at the beginning, as his lordship says, at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, we found the body of one Alexander Campbell upside down in a burn called the Minnoch, over beyond Newton Stewart. It looked as though he'd been painting up a bin and had stepped back to admire his picture, maybe, and had tumbled down the bank and smashed his head on the rocks. However...
His lordship soon convinced you that the man had been murdered.
How did you guess? That's exactly what happened. And what is more, not that he'd been simply pushed over the edge, you can, but that he'd been murdered the previous night.
And how did you know that, Peter?
Oh, several things. Not least the rigor mortis. When we saw him, Campbell looked more than 12 hours dead. And that in itself was immediately suspicious, because someone wearing Campbell's rather distinctive hat and cloak had been seen painting above the Minnoch that morning at 10:10. And again at 11:05.
Not Campbell.
Precisely, Charles. Not Campbell, but the murderer pretending to be Campbell, in order to establish some sort of alibi.
Ah, well, at least you know the murderer must be an artist too. Yes, well, but a lot of people who live hereabouts are, aren't they, Inspector?
Aye, sir, there are a good many, but we managed to whittle the list down to 6 suspects, all of whom quarrelled with Campbell shortly before he died.
Well, 6 is still quite a lot.
Ah, but what a 6 they are, Charles. Waters has disappeared. Graham had disappeared, but turned up yesterday evening, refusing to say where he'd been. Garn's servants claimed that he went off to London unexpectedly and conveniently on Monday night. Strachan turned up on Tuesday morning, lying about where he'd been and with a beautiful shiner, and Ferguson, who was Campbell's next-door neighbour, was certainly travelling to Glasgow on Tuesday morning, but didn't tell the police the whole truth about what he heard at Campbell's cottage on Monday night. And as for Farron, well, half the evidence seems more or less conclusive about his guilt, and the other half denies it absolutely.
It is a very difficult case, Mr. Parker. We know Farron was threatening to kill Campbell on Monday night. We know Campbell met someone on the road between here and Gatehouse later on and had a fight with him. Wee lassie called Helen McGregor saw him. And now that Farron's bicycle has been found up by Falbay, it looks very much as if Farron killed himself afterwards in a fit of remorse. But, if all that is true, what is that bicycle doing at Euston?
The theory was, Parker, that the murderer got away from the Minnoch after pitching Campbell's body down the bank by bicycling to the railway at Girton. When he changed trains at Ayr, he relabelled his bicycle and dispatched it to Euston, out of harm's way. But as they've now found Farron's machine up at the lead mines, we must conclude either that Farron is innocent, or that the bicycle and the traveller on the train have nothing to do with the case.
So, what do you want me to do?
Well, to start with, Parker, get us an accurate description of the machine at Euston. From the details we've had so far, it sounds like one that was stolen from the Anworth Hotel on Monday night. Though if that's the case, I admit we won't be much further forward, as anyone could have stolen it. However, we might at least be able to eliminate Waters, whose bicycle has also vanished.
Righto. I'll see to it.
Ah, thank you. The Inspector and I were just about to pay a visit to the scene of the murder to look for the weapon when you arrived. Will you accompany us? Young Helen McGregor reported that a spanner flew through the air towards her while Campbell and the murderer were wrestling in the road. There's no reason to suppose that it ain't still there, waiting for us, simply gleaming with fingerprints, what?
Sorry, Peter, I don't think I can stay. I must pay a courtesy call on the Chief Constable before I go.
Oh, rightio then, Charles. Well, in that case, we'd better say cheerio. I'll see you when I come back to London. Come along now, Macpherson. Leave someone else to organise a search party for Farron, and let us go a spanner hunting.
Any luck, my lord?
Not so far, Inspector. It must be here somewhere. Keep looking.
Hello. What's this? Aha. Inspector!
Hi, my lord.
Come here. Here you are. A King Dick Spanner.
Oh, well done, my lord. You've not touched it.
Now, what do you take me for?
Might be fingerprints, you can.
Aye, there might.
And if there are, we'll only have to get the prints of Farron and compare. Yeah. How will we do that now?
Well, razor, palette knife, picture frames, pots, anything in his studio. Studios are never dusted. Well, while you're wrapping that up, Inspector, I'll just be ambling over the road to where the actual riot must have taken place. Though there won't be much trace of it now, I'm afraid.
It's not likely with cars and cattle passing up and down. For by this dry grass takes no marks, more the pity. But take a look around, my lord.
I will. Hello.
What's that?
What indeed? Did you ever hear, Inspector, of the Kilkenny cats that fought till only their tails were left behind them? Now here are two gentlemen having a fight, and both of them spirited away, leaving only this, a tuft of hair. And what's more, it's the wrong colour. Oh, what do you make of that?
Black, curly hair. That's a queer thing, my lord.
Cut off, too, not torn out. Yeah, very interesting. It's soft and silky, and it's never been trimmed at the distal end. Well, it might come from one of those sweet, old-fashioned, long-haired girls, but the texture's a bit on the coarse side. You know, this is a job for an expert, really, to say where it does come from.
What makes you say it's never been trimmed, my lord?
Well, see how the points taper? Is there a female in the country with hair so black and so curly that's never been shingled or bingled? Where are blokes wrestling for a love token, Inspector? Unless so, whose? Not Mrs. Farron's, unless she's turned from a Burne-Jones to a Rossetti in the night. But if it ain't Mrs. Farron's, Inspector, where's our theory? Hello, here's some more. Oh, gracious me. Some love token. I say, let's trot home with this and interview Bunter. I have a notion it may interest him.
Oh, you think so? Well, that's not a bad idea neither, but I'm thinking we'll be better away to Newton Stewart first.
What for?
To find the doctor, my lord, and get the undertaker to open the coffin. I've a great fancy to see how this spanner fits yon wound in Campbell's head.
And did it fit, my lord?
Yes, Bunter, it did. The doctor thought the contused area on the left cheek was certainly caused by the spanner, and the larger dent on the temple, the one which actually killed him, could well have been too. Unfortunately, the fingerprint evidence was not so satisfactory.
In what way did it fail to persuade, my lord? Were you not able to secure an adequate print?
Oh, there was no problem about that. We got a beautiful one of the right thumb. Unhappily, though, it derived not from the murderer, but from the victim, which we verified by taking the fingerprints of the corpse. Yeah, confounded nuisance.
Indubitably, my lord.
Well, never mind, Bunter. We'll win through yet. And now I must get ready to go out. I'm going to give the inspector dinner at the Galloway Arms this evening to compensate him for the disappointment he suffered over the prince.
Very good, my lord. If you are to be out, my lord, would you have any objection to my attending the local cinema this evening?
No, not a bit, Bunter. Go along, get your hair down. I won't be in until midnight anyway. I promised Bob Anderson I'd drop in tonight. You know what a social vortex his studio is. I thought that if I went along, I might pick up one or two clues from the assembled company. You never know. Hello.
Here he is, Lord. Bob, here's Lord Peter.
Lord Peter, excellent. Come away in. Here he is, everyone, the man to tell us all about it.
All about what? Want to back for the ledger?
The ledger be damned. All about this business of poor Campbell. Tell us, Wimsey, you that's hand in glove with the police.
I am sorry. I'm not allowed to tell anything. You mustn't tempt me. It's not fair. I could not love thee, Bob, so much loved I not honour more. Besides, I'm supposed to be finding things out, not giving information away.
Well, you're welcome to all we know.
Am I, Miss Selby? Thank ye. Tell me then,
How many hundred people in the county besides Jock Graham knew that Campbell meant to go up to the Minnock on Tuesday morning?
Oh, you'd better ask who did not. He told us all here on Sunday night, didn't he, Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, I remember it perfectly. And I fancy I said something about it to Farron on the Monday morning, because he had a tea party or something fixed up for Brighouse Bay on Tuesday, and said he hoped they wouldn't run into Campbell.
What about you, Strachan?
Oh, yes, I knew too. My wife and I met him up there on Sunday while he was doing a preliminary sketch, and he told us.
Campbell seems to have been much more communicative than usual.
Oh, Campbell was not such a bad fellow if you took him the right way. He had an aggressive manner, but one couldn't really take him seriously.
Well, many people did, though, Bob. Matthew Gowan, for one.
And Hugh Farron for another.
And Waters, too. By the way, Wimsey, what's happened to young Waters?
Well, I haven't the foggiest idea, Strachan. As far as I can make out, he's supposed to be in Glasgow. Did you see anything of him there on Tuesday, Ferguson? At the exhibition, for instance?
No. The police asked me that. Do I take it that Waters is suspected of anything?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It's just that if he was on the way to Glasgow on Tuesday morning, he couldn't have been up at the Minnock.
The odd thing is that nobody saw him in Glasgow.
That's right.
Well, he was supposed to be going by our train, but he didn't, did you, Mr. Ferguson?
I didn't see him, but I wasn't looking for him particularly. I saw you two ladies get in at Dumfries, and I saw you again at St Enoch Station. But I went off in rather a hurry. I had to take my Magneto into Sparks and Crisp for repairs. Confounded nuisance, that Magneto.
Oh, well, Sparks and Chris will provide a nice little alibi for you.
Eh? Oh, yes. I don't know exactly when I got there, but they'll be able to say. I took a tram up. I should think I got to their place about 3 o'clock. The train was a quarter of an hour late, of course. It always is.
It was near 20 minutes late. We were very much annoyed about it.
Aye.
Local trains are always late, is one of the rules. It's done so that the guard and the engine driver can step out at every stop and admire the prize marrow in the station master's garden. However, this ain't getting us any further.
Investigating the murder, you mean, Wimsey? Shall I tell you what I think? I think the whole thing's a mare's nest. Probably it was only an accident after all. The poor man lost his foothold and tumbled down the bank.
Well, it's possible, Bob. I won't deny it. A great deal depends on how long Campbell actually spent up at the Minnock on Tuesday morning. Ferguson, you don't know what time he left home by any chance, do you?
I heard his car moving off about 7:30.
You didn't see him?
No.
7:30 then. And it's about 27 miles, so he would have got up there sometime between about 8:30 and 8:45. How long would it take him to do this sketch, do you think?
Oh, we haven't seen the picture. How can we possibly tell?
Look here, I know how we could get a rough idea. Supposing all of you were each to start off with a panel that size and a rough charcoal outline. Could you kind of fudge something up, imitating Campbell's style as much as possible, while I stood over you with a stopwatch? No, we could take the average of your speeds and get a sort of line on the thing that way, what?
I reconstruct the crime, you mean?
In a sense, yes.
Well, that's all very well, Wimsey, but no two men paint at the same rate. And if I, for instance, tried to paint like Campbell with a palette knife, I should make an awful muck of it and get nowhere.
Oh, possibly. But then your styles are so very unlike Ferguson.
I'll be sporting, Lord Peter. If it's really going to do any good, I don't mind making a fool of myself.
Oh, that's the spirit, Margaret. I'll come along too, Lord Peter. Now, what about you, Mr. Strachan?
Well, I don't mind having a dash at it.
All right, then, we all will. Have we got to go up to the scene of the tragedy, old man?
Starting at 7:30.
Well, it's no good getting there too early because of the light.
Ah, well, now, that's one of the things we've got to prove. How soon he could have got going on it.
Is it tomorrow morning you're thinking of?
Sooner the better.
Will you convey us there?
In the utmost luxury. And Bunter shall provide hot coffee and sandwiches. All right, everyone?
Aye.
Ferguson?
I think it's monstrous. Going over in carloads like that and having a picnic.
Oh, come on.
Well, I'll come if you like, but I think it's rather disgusting all the same.
Well, never mind, you'll get over it. Well, thank you all. And now I better go home and place the order with Bunter. What shall I say? Coffee and palette knives for 6? Bunter!
My lord?
Bunter, something very odd is going on at Mr. Gowan's house. I was on my way back from Bob's when I saw someone engaged in a moonlight fit-in.
I was about, my lord, to make a similar communication to your lordship. I have already taken upon me in your lordship's absence to acquaint the Chief Constable, Sir Maxwell Jimison, with Mr. Gowan's project of escape. I have every reason to anticipate that he will be detained at Dumfries or Carlisle.
God's sake, Bunter, explain yourself.
Very good, my lord. When your lordship was good enough to acquaint me with the result of Inspector Macpherson's preliminary inquiry at Mr. Gowan's house, it came to my mind that possibly a greater amount of information might be elicited from Mr. Gowan's domestic staff by a gentleman's personal attendant than by an officer of the law. With this object in view, my lord, I desired permission to attend the cinematograph performance tonight. There is, a young person employed in Mr. Gowan's household of the name of Elizabeth.
Bunter.
From whom, in the course of conversation yesterday, I obtained the information that she was to receive permission to spend this evening out. I invited her to attend the cinematograph entertainment in my company. During the course of the performance, I contrived to render our relations somewhat more confidential.
Bunter.
Your lordship need be under no apprehension. In short, the young person confessed to me that during the last few days circumstances had arisen which had put her into a state of considerable trepidation. I naturally inquired what these circumstances might be. In reply, she gave me to understand, my lord, that her alarm was occasioned by the presence of a mysterious stranger in Mr. Gowan's house.
You fascinate me, Bunter.
Thank you, my lord. I succeeded at length in eliciting from her the following particulars. The mysterious occurrences of which she complained had commenced to eventuate on Monday last, on which day she had received permission to spend the evening with a sick relative. On returning to the house at 10:30, she was informed that Mr. Gowan had been suddenly called away to London and had departed by the 8:45 train for Carlisle.
Yes, that's what the butler chappie, what's his name, Alcock, told Macpherson.
Yes, my lord. The next day she was expressly forbidden by Mrs. Alcock to enter a certain corridor at the top of the house. Being, however, of the female sex, the prohibition immediately aroused in her a strong spirit of inquiry, and on the first possible occasion she went into the forbidden corridor and listened. She heard nothing, but to her alarm detected a faint odour of disinfectant, an odour which immediately connected itself in her mind with the idea of death. The young woman was then still more frightened by hearing footsteps ascending the stairs. Not wishing to be caught in an act of disobedience, she hastened to conceal herself inside a small broom cupboard at the head of the staircase. Peeping through the crack, my lord, she observed Alcock, carrying a jug of hot water and safety razor, pass along the corridor and enter a room at the end. Convinced that there was a corpse in the house, and that Alcock was on his way to wash and shave it in preparation for burial, she rushed downstairs and indulged in hysterics in the pantry. Early next morning, however, my lord, she went up to the top of the house again. She ventured a little way down the corridor, when she was rooted to the spot by the sound of a hollow groan.
Really, Bunter, your narrative style would do credit to the castle of Otranto.
Thank you, my lord. I'm only acquainted by repute with the work you mention, but I understand that it enjoyed a considerable vogue in its day. The girl Elizabeth was hesitating whether to shriek or to run away, when the door at the end of the passage was opened in a stealthy manner, and a terrible face looked out at her.
A terrible face. Very well, I've got that. Come along now, a terrible face. And?
The face, as I understand, was enveloped in grave clothes. The jaws were closely bound up, the features were hideous, and the lips writhed away from the protruding teeth, and the apparition was of a ghastly pallor.
Look here, Bunter, could you not cut out some of the fancy adjectives and say plainly what the face was like?
I had not myself the opportunity of observing the face, my lord, but the impression produced on me by the young woman's observations was that of a dark-haired, clean-shaven man with protruding teeth under the affliction of some form of physical suffering.
Oh, it was a man, then?
That was Elizabeth's opinion. She then heard a bell ring violently. She rushed down the passage in blind alarm and retired to her own room to hide her head in the bedclothes.
The best thing she could do.
Precisely, my lord. She was much disturbed. I spoke as encouragingly as possible to the young woman and offered to accompany her back to Mr. Gowan's house. She informed me, however, that she had received permission to spend the night at her mother's.
Indeed?
Exactly, my lord. I therefore took her home and returned to the High Street, where I observed Mr. Gowan's saloon car standing before the door. It was then 5 minutes to 11. It was borne in upon me, my lord, that some person was about to take a surreptitious departure from Mr. Gowan's residence, and that Elizabeth had been given a night's leave of absence in order that she might not be a witness of the proceedings.
I think the inference is justifiable, Bunter.
Yes, my lord. Presently, a tall figure, closely muffled in a scarf and overcoat, with the hat pulled well down to conceal the features, emerged from the doorway. And the impression produced upon my mind was that it was Mr. Gowan himself.
Gowan? Then who was the mysterious stranger?
I could not say, my lord. The car moved away, and on consulting my watch I found that the time was 3 minutes past 11. I formed the opinion, my lord, that Mr. Gowan had, after all, not departed from Kirkcudbright on the Monday night, as Alcock had stated, but that he had remained concealed in his own house in attendance upon the sick person observed by Elizabeth.
Curiouser and curiouser. Did you inform the police?
I thought it best, my lord, in view of the delicacy of the circumstances, to communicate directly with Sir Maxwell Jimison. I hastened to the Selkirk Arms and put in a call from there.
Well, you must have passed me. I just heard across to the police station, but Inspector Macpherson wasn't there.
I regret extremely that I should have missed your lordship. I informed Sir Maxwell of the circumstances, and I understood him to say that he would immediately telephone to Castle Douglas and Dumfries with a view to intercepting Mr. Gowan, if he should make his appearance at either of those points, and that he would also circulate a description of the car and its driver.
Well, well, well. For a quiet country place, Kirkcudbright seems to boast a bright lot of inhabitants. They appear and disappear like Cheshire cats. Well, I give it up. All I know is that it's perfectly useless for me to try and detect things. You're always off the mark before me.
Thank you very much, my lord.
Good morning, Inspector. Come along in. Hey, you're lucky to find us at home. Had the weather not broken, we'd have been away on a sketching expedition.
Sketching, my lord?
Yes, I was going to take a couple of our suspects plus a few decoys up to the minute to watch them paint. I'm sure the clue to this case lies in the painting habits of our 6 prize beauties. Incidentally, any news of Farron? You've not found his body yet?
No, my lord, but there are 2 or 3 shafts still to be explored. They could be awkward as they have water on the bottom.
Well, we must just hope for the best.
Aye, my lord.
Now, tell me about Gowan. Did the police pick him up all right?
No, my lord.
No?
No, my lord. The chief constable bungled it.
He couldn't have done.
Well, he did. That's fair ridiculous. That they should have missed Gowan is not thinkable. I'm so conspicuous with his big black beard and all.
Oh, Inspector, he's done us. Oh, what don'ts and ninnies we are. And now I suppose that damn photograph's been circulated all over the country.
My lord?
The black curly hair, Inspector. Show Bunter the specimen. Bunter!
By God, I believe your lordship's right. And me certain that it was Farron.
My lord?
Bunter, here, come in here. What do you make of this?
My lord, it is most regrettable that I did not see this before. Without presuming to speak as an expert, I may say that on several occasions I've had the opportunity of examining the beard of a person belonging to the Mohammedan persuasion. You are doubtless aware, my lord, that the strict followers of this sect consider it unlawful to trim the hair of the face, with the consequence that the beard is extremely silky in texture, each hair preserving the natural tapering point. Your lordship has doubtless observed that this specimen conforms in every particular to this description, and having seen Mr. Gowan's beard, I do not hesitate to give it as my personal opinion, subject to expert correction, that Mr. Gowan will now be found to be deprived in whole or in part of that facial adornment.
Oh, yes, I am afraid you're right, Bunter. Well, now we know who the mysterious stranger was and what he was suffering from. You will have to revise your theory, Inspector, and put Gowan in the leading role.
Aye, go and send off a corrected description at once.
Just so. But have you the slightest idea what Gowan looks like without his beard? Do you realise, my dear fellow, that you have never seen anything of Gowan's face except his eyes and a somewhat exaggerated nose?
Well, we'll catch him by his nose, my lord.
Yes. Well, if I were you, I'd look for him in London. Didn't Alcock say he belonged to a club in Piccadilly?
Aye, my lord.
Go and call on Chief Inspector Parker at the Yard. He'll dig him out for you.
Come in, Inspector. Sit down. Well, I was hardly expecting to see you again so soon.
I hope I'm not being a nuisance, Mr. Parker.
No, not a bit, not a bit. Well, we checked up at the Milestick for you. Mr. Gowan certainly hasn't been staying there, but 1 or 2 letters for him have been collected by a gentleman presenting his card, which suggests he's not far away. Well, we'll find him for you, don't worry. What do you want done with him when we've got him?
Is it your opinion that we have enough evidence to arrest him?
I only know what Lord Peter told me on the telephone. But I take it your idea is that Gowan killed Campbell in a fight on the Gatehouse Kirkcudbright Road.
Aye, sir.
And then got frightened and decided to fake up the accident.
Aye.
Why did he shave off his beard?
Because he had to go back to Campbell's cottage in Gatehouse and spend the night there pretending to be Campbell. That beard was so conspicuous had he been seen. He had been instantly recognised.
An awkward bit of barbering, nevertheless. Well, why didn't he go home first and get this Alcock fellow to do it for him? But the man's been lying like Ananias ever since you first spoke to him. I can't believe he would have flinched at 1 degree of guilt more.
I don't ken, Mr. Parker. But I will admit this theory doesn't explain everything. For instance, the traveller with a bicycle who went from Girvan to Ayr. The description is not a bit like Gowan, even without his beard.
Yes, I can't make sense of him at all. Unless Gowan contrived to disguise himself in some way with a false, fair moustache.
Goodbye, Mr. Parker. If Gowan did leave Kirkcudbright on Tuesday, who was the man Elizabeth saw at the top of the house?
Or who, for that matter, was the muffled-up man escaping at dead of night? Well, it seems to me, Inspector, that the man you should be interrogating is Alcock, and from what I've heard, Alcock is a man of considerable resource and sagacity. Parker, yes? Yes, he is. All right. Ha-ha! Thank you. Your local station.
Oh?
News for you. Alcock's disappeared.
Episode 5, Alibis. Lord Peter Wimsey is investigating the murder of Sandy Campbell, an unpopular Galloway artist, and suspicion has now fallen on another painter, Matthew Gowan, who has apparently shaved off his beard and escaped to London. Shortly after Inspector Macpherson's departure to track him down, the local police discover that Alcock, Gowan's butler, has also disappeared. Sergeant D.L. informs Lord Peter.
Aye, my lord. The call came in from Kirkcudbright half an hour ago. Alcock and Hammond the chauffeur have taken Mr. Gowan's car and vanished, we know not where to.
Has Inspector Macpherson been informed?
Aye, my lord. What I cannot understand, though, my lord, is how it is Mr. Gowan and his servants are suspected at all. Just 2 days ago, Inspector Macpherson was ready to swear Hugh Farron was our murderer.
But a lot's happened since then, Sergeant. To begin with, yesterday afternoon we found several pieces of Gowan's silky black beard at the scene of the crime.
Which scene, my lord? The main road where Campbell was killed, or the barn where we found the body?
The road. The theory is that after committing the murder, Gowan shaved his beard off there and then to avoid being recognised while taking the body back to Gatehouse. Whatever the reason, though, Inspector Macpherson is convinced those tufts of hair let Farron out.
But, my lord, what about Farron's bicycle, what was found abandoned up near the disused lead mines? Surely that suggests he did exactly what he threatened to do. Killed Campbell because he thought he was associating with his wife, and then went up into the hills to do away with himself.
Possibly, dear, possibly. But then what was the point of all that nonsense up at the Minnock on Tuesday morning? Pretending to be Campbell and painting the picture before toppling him into the burn.
My lord?
Well, you see what I'm driving at, don't you, Sergeant?
Well,
Why should Farron concoct such an elaborate fake alibi if he was intending to kill himself immediately afterwards anyway?
Well, my lord...
Similar considerations apply to Gowan, of course. I mean, in his case, what on earth was the point of bicycling all the way from the Minnock to Girvan to catch the train, and then slinking back to Kirkcudbright to go into hiding? We know he was at home until Thursday evening because his maid, Betty, saw him lurking beardless on the upper floor. Oh, it doesn't make sense, DL. And yet we know there was a traveller from Girvan to Ayr, and we know he had a bicycle which he sent on to Euston, and we strongly suspect he's our man. So who was he? One of our 4 other suspects? Ferguson, perhaps?
I thought it had been established, my lord, that Ferguson was on his way to Glasgow on Tuesday morning by an entirely different route.
His alibi for Tuesday's pretty good. What about Waters, then?
We still don't know where Waters is. He's completely disappeared.
Henry Strachan, maybe? He came in on Tuesday afternoon with a black eye, which he said he got playing golf, but I know that's a lie.
Could be, my lord.
Or what about Jock Graham? He was seen somewhere near the Minnoch on Tuesday morning, and won't say where he was on Monday night. Have we got anything further on him?
I'm expecting something hourly, my lord. And have you seen this in the Glasgow Clarion? P.C. Duncan has been blabbing to a reporter. Look at it, look at it. The police have reason to suppose that the crime was committed by an artist. The one fact we were wishful to conceal from the suspects. Mr. Jock Graham interviewed by our correspondent. My Lord Graham knows he's suspected now, and I've no doubt he'll be producing an alibi before the day's out, either for Monday night or for Tuesday morning, or even both.
Yes, Sergeant, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Oh, well, never mind. You stay here and wait for Graham's alibi. I shall drive out to the Carrick shore, where I know Strachan is painting this morning, and talk to him about his. Cheerio.
Strachan! Oh, hello, Wimsey. How on earth did you get here?
I drove here. Fresh air and all that kind of thing, what? Well, I hope you don't mind me watching you paint.
Well, frankly, I...
So glad. I see, that's rather nice. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, about an hour.
You use very big brushes. Broad, sweeping style and all that, what? But I wonder you don't use a sketching box on days like this.
Yes, I don't know why I don't, except that I never have done. I'm not used to it. One gets into habits.
Yes, I suppose one does.
I'm rather methodical, really. I could lay my hands on any of my paints in the dark.
Yes, interesting. Do you have a tidy mind as well? Well, I mean, are you good at dates and figures, timetables, all that sort of thing?
Not the least. My tidiness begins and ends with my painting. I'm hopelessly unobservant. I haven't even got a good visual memory. I'm always seeing things I hadn't noticed before, which is quite pleasant. I get the fun of having perpetual surprises.
Yes. You're safeguarded against boredom, what? Sometimes an eye for detail's a good thing, you know. I mean, if you want to tell a good, plausible, circumstantial lie, for example.
Oh? Yes. Yes, I suppose it would be, under those circumstances.
Your little story of that rogue golf ball that gave you that china, for instance. How much better it would have been if surrounded and supported by stout, upstanding, well-thought-out detail.
What?
For one thing, you omitted to mention what hole you were playing when it happened. There never was a man telling a golfing story who didn't buttress it about with every kind of geographical and historical detail. That was poor psychology on your part. I mean, sir...
Now, look here. What the devil do you mean by talking to me like this?
I'm just wondering whether you care to suggest any other explanation for that black eye of yours. If you were out on the tiles, or, well...
If you take that tone to me, I'll break your neck. Damn you, Wimsey.
Look, Strachan, for heaven's sake, now pull yourself together. It is dangerous to be violent. Listen, Strachan. Listen, man. I'm a smaller man than you are, but I could chuck you into eternity with a turn of the wrist. Now, stand still! Stand still! Don't you ever think 2 minutes ahead? Do you really suppose you can settle everything by brute force in this blundering way? Suppose you had knocked me down, and I'd split my head open like Campbell. What would you have done with the body, Strachan?
My God, Wimsey, you deadly devil. I meant to kill you then. I've got such a hell of a temper. What made you do that?
I wanted to see what sort of a temper you'd got. And do you know, I almost wished I'd let you knock me down, just to see what you'd do. Oh, never mind, it's starting to rain. I think we'd better pack up and go home.
Yes. Hello.
What's up?
The cobalt's not here. Must have rolled off.
Yeah, here it is. In the heather. Is that the lot?
That's the lot.
I better make tracks, then.
Look, Wimsey, what are you going to do?
Go home. Unless there's anything you want to tell me.
I'll tell you this. One of these days you'll go too far and somebody will murder you.
I shouldn't be in the least surprised.
And now, Mrs. Smith le Measurer, what can I be doing for you?
Oh, Sergeant, it's this report in the Glasgow Clarion. I just wanted to ask whether there's any foundation for the dreadful insinuations in it.
That is maybe.
You see, it says that the murder must have been committed by an artist. What makes them say that?
Well, I'll no be saying that there mightn't be some evidence to point in that direction, especially since the deceased was an artist himself, and most of his friends were artists.
Oh, of course. And then it goes on to mention Mr. Graham.
Aye, does so.
Oh, surely it can't be that you actually suspect Mr. Graham of this dreadful thing.
Oh, well, now, there's always some grounds for suspicion when a crime is committed and a person will not state just where he was at the time.
Oh.
I wouldn't say that there was what they call a violent presumption of guilt, but there's grounds for what we may call a general suspicion.
Oh, I see. Well, tell me, officer, supposing anybody were to clear your mind of this general suspicion against Mr. Graham, it wouldn't be necessary to make the explanation public?
Well, that depends on the nature of the explanation. If it was such as to remove a possibility of this gentleman's being concerned, and if it was well supported by proofs, and provided that the matter never came to trial, there would be no need to make anything public at all.
Well, in that case... Oh, Mr. DL, I can rely on your discretion, can't I?
Forby, I'm a married man. Just tell me all about it, as if I might be your father.
Oh, I will, thank you, I will. Mr. Graham would never say anything, of course. He's too kind and too chivalrous. Mr. DL, he couldn't tell you where he was on Monday night, because he was with me.
Is that so? Yeah, that's a very good reason for him to keep silence, a very satisfactory reason indeed. Can you tell me, Mrs. Smith le Measurer, at what time Mr. Graham came to your house and left you again?
Oh, he came to dinner at about 8 o'clock and left me again after breakfast. That would be a little after 9. My maid can confirm the times.
Well, I'm sure she can. And Mr. Graham was in the house all the time?
He was never out of my sight.
I see. What makes you think, ma'am, that this story provides Mr. Graham with an alibi for the murder of Campbell that was found with his head dunted in at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon?
What? But I thought...
What makes you think the gentleman needs an alibi for the Monday night?
Guilty knowledge, you think, DL?
It looks very like it, my lord. The fact that Campbell was murdered on Monday night hasn't been publicly announced. So how did she know?
How indeed?
And now here's another piece of intelligence come in from Kirkcudbright. Yon servants of Mr. Gowan, Alcock and Hammond, have been found in Brig of Dee.
What on earth were they doing there?
Taking a fishing holiday. And they had a letter from Mr. Gowan written in London giving them permission to use the car. Apparently the letter was posted in Piccadilly on Wednesday evening, my lord.
But Gowan didn't go to London until Thursday night. Bunter saw him being smuggled out of the house in his car.
Aye, but Alcock claims the muffled-up person was none other than himself. He also rejects completely the story told by the maid Betty. Mr. Gowan could not have been seen by her on the top floor of the house on Wednesday, apparently, because he went to London on Monday evening, as originally stated.
Which gives him a watertight alibi, too. Perfect, DL, perfect. Do you know, I'm beginning to enjoy this. The more alibis, the merrier, what? And the more unconvincing, the better.
Come along now, any other customers?
Aye, my lord. Ferguson, we've had confirmation of the time he arrived in Glasgow on Tuesday.
Ah, yes. He took his broken magneto into Sparks and Crisp the moment he arrived, didn't he?
Aye, my lord, and Mr. Saunders dealt with him. He couldn't charge his memory with a precise minute, but he thinks it would be about 10 minutes to 3.
That's just about what Ferguson made it.
Aye, so his alibi is looking very good. There was one other thing, though, Saunders said. He said he couldn't well understand what had happened to Ferguson's magneto. It looked as though someone had been doing it a willful damage.
Really? That's very interesting.
Aye, my lord. And I was thinking maybe that perhaps some felonious body was interested in seeing that Ferguson didn't take out his car that morning.
So was I, Sergeant. So was I.
Newton Stewart Police Station, Sergeant DL. Aye. Aye, very good. What account does he give of himself? Aye. Detain him. I'll be along in the next train. Thank you. Goodbye. That was Glasgow, my lord. They've picked up Waters. He claims he's been on a yachting expedition with a friend since early Tuesday morning.
Another alibi. Let's go, Sergeant.
God, Lord, Waters. I never knew such a lot of silly fuss about nothing. I've been yachting with a bloke, that's all. Old Tom Druitt of Trinity, as a matter of fact. I dare say I am a bit untidy. So'd you be after 5 days in a sou'westerly gale in Tom's dirty little windjamming beast of a boat.
See here now, Mr. Waters. Let's get all this story correct. You say you started out with this man Druitt on his yacht. When did you go aboard, sir?
I'll tell you exactly what happened. Last Monday night, about 11 o'clock, I heard some fool chucking stones at my window. I went down, and there was Druitt. You remember Druitt, Wimsey, or was he before your time?
I never knew any Trinity men. The Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
Of course, you were at Balliol. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I let him in and gave him a drink. But I was rather fed up at being rousted out because I meant to go up to Glasgow by the 8:45 next morning, and I wanted my beauty sleep. Besides, I felt rather bloody. Now, you remember, Wimsey, I had had that fight with Campbell in the McClellan Arms. By the way, what is this story about Campbell?
I'll tell you later, old man. Carry on.
Yes. Well, I told Druitt I was going to Glasgow, and he said, why not come with him, if I wasn't in a hurry? It was lovely weather, and his boat, Susanna he calls it, could make the voyage in 2 or 3 days. Well, it sounded all right. So I said I'd think about it. But then he said, wouldn't I go with him anyhow and have a look at the Susanna, as he'd got her lying off the dune? Well, I thought I might as well have the run. It seemed the best way of getting Druitt out of the house. He'd hired a car from somewhere, and we got down there in no time, and after half an hour or so, he dropped me back at the corner, and I walked home. I left it with him that I'd think the trip over, and if I wasn't on board at 9:30, he wasn't to wait any longer, as he'd missed the tide.
But you did go?
Yes. I didn't really intend to, but next morning when Mrs. MacLeod, that's my landlady, called me, the weather looked damn good, so I thought, why not, after all? So I had my breakfast, got on my bike and pushed off.
And you didn't tell Mrs. MacLeod where you were going?
No. She knew I was going to Glasgow and might be away some days, and it was no concern of hers how I went. As a matter of fact, she was out at the back somewhere. I didn't see her. I bicycled up to the dune, signalled to Druitt, and he took me off.
What did you do with your bicycle?
Why, just shoved it into a little shed place there is up there among the trees. I'd often put it there before when I was painting or bathing off the dune, and it never came to any harm. That was that. As I was saying, we had rather bad luck with the weather, which turned filthy yesterday morning, and we didn't get to Gourock till this morning. And now, do you mind telling me what all this is about?
The story tallies, all right, dear one.
Aye, it tallies well enough. Only for the evidence of this man, Druitt. He'll have to be found at once. Where will he be just now, Mr. Waters?
God knows. Somewhere off Kintyre, I should imagine. Don't you believe what I'm telling you? What is all this mystery, anyway? Wimsey, surely you can explain.
Well, you see, it's like this, old horse. Last Tuesday morning, they found Campbell lying dead in the Minnoch, with a nasty crack in his head made with a blunt instrument. And as you'd last been seen with your 10 fingers on his throat, threatening to do him in, we rather wondered, you know, what had become of you and all that.
Oh, my God.
Oh, aye, it's all very well, my lord, but Waters could still have done it if Druitt is an accomplice. We dinna ken for sure that he didna join the Susanna at some other point later in the day, after he'd tumbled Campbell's body into the Minnoch.
We don't know. But in that case, Sergeant, when did he kill Campbell?
On Monday night, my lord. The man at the window wasn't Druitt at all, but Campbell, come back to finish off their fight.
Very well. If that man was Campbell, how and when did Waters get into communication with Druitt?
Perhaps he knew beforehand, my lord, that Druitt and the Susanna would be, at Lady Bay, for instance, on Tuesday night, so all he'd have to do would be to bicycle over there.
Oh, it's perfectly possible, Sergeant, though I think you ought to ask yourself where Waters ate breakfast on Tuesday morning. However, if this alibi is going to stand up, the point that must be proved beyond doubt is that Waters went aboard the Susanna not later than 9:30 on Tuesday. There are cottages down at the dune. Surely to goodness somebody must have seen him.
That's a fact.
And the bicycle should be there too. Look, chase it up, Sergeant. Let's see if we can get alibis for all 6 of our suspects, what?
Oh, that'll no be easy, my lord. You dinna believe Strachan's tale. And as for Farron, well, there's no knowing where he may be.
I wonder. I caught a glimpse of Mrs. Farron this morning, and she looked much more relaxed.
Mm.
Well, I'm wondering if... Well, I think I'll pay the lady a visit. Well, Mrs. Farron, we shall soon have the truant husband back now.
What makes you think that?
All stations call. Nothing agitating, you know, anxious friends and relations, all that sort of thing.
That is a very great impertinence.
I admit that you don't seem frightfully anxious. Where did the letter come from?
What letter?
The letter your husband wrote to you yesterday.
If the police have been tampering with my correspondence...
Well, since you admit to the existence of the letter...
Oh, I admit nothing of the sort.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Farron, you're not one of nature's gifted liars. Up to yesterday, you were genuinely frightened and anxious about your husband's safety. Today, you are not. Therefore, you received the letter. Why deny it?
Why should I tell you anything about it?
Why, indeed? But surely, Mrs. Farron, you must know that your husband is, or maybe, a valuable witness in the Campbell case.
Why?
Well, he left here on Monday evening looking for Campbell. He was last heard of inquiring for Campbell in Gatehouse. It would be interesting to know if he actually met Campbell, wouldn't it?
Lord Peter Wimsey, have you ever thought how contemptible you are? Do you dare to suggest that I believe my husband to be guilty of murder?
If I must answer that, then I think you have thought so, and I'm not sure that you don't think so now.
You're quite mistaken. I'm sure my husband is innocent. There's another reason for...
Ah, stupid on me. It's your pride that you're sheltering now, ain't it? My dear Mrs. Farron, will you believe me when I say that all men, the best and worst alike, have these moments of rebellion and distaste? It's nothing. It's a case for understanding and, if I may say so, response.
I shall not do anything. To be insulted was enough to be deserted as well. Is it my fault that, just because this house was always a peaceful and beautiful place, that unhappy man should have come to tell me his troubles? Do you believe there was anything more than sympathy in my feelings for Sandy Campbell?
Not for a moment.
Then why couldn't my husband believe it?
Because he's in love with you.
That is not the kind of love I recognize as love. If he loved me, he should have trusted me.
As a matter of fact, I quite agree with you. But everybody has his own ideas about love, and Hugh Farron is a decent man.
Is it decent to believe vile things of other people?
Perhaps not. Besides, he should have known that under no circumstances would you ever be unfaithful to him. For one thing, you haven't got the temperament. For another, you would never like to think less of yourself than you do. For a third, it would offend your aesthetic taste, And for a fourth, it would give other people a handle against you.
Upon my word, your reasons are more insulting than my husband's suspicions.
You're quite right, they are.
Go and see him. Tell him what you've been saying to me, if you dare, and see what he says to you.
With pleasure. If you'll give me his address.
I don't know it, but the postmark was Brough in Westmoreland.
Thank you, Mrs. Farron. I'll go and find him.
Hello, Farron. Don't let me disturb the painting. I'd like to watch.
My God! Wimsey, by all that's holy! How did you get here? Oh, don't say my wife sent you.
Not exactly, but I'd be damn glad if you'd tell me exactly what you've been up to since Monday night. The police have been hunting for you everywhere.
The police? Oh, why in the world?
Well, the fact that you were talking rather wildly about suicide, and then your bicycle being found close to those old mines, and then Campbell's murder, of course.
Murder? Campbell's been murdered?
He was bumped off sometime on Monday night or Tuesday morning up at the Minnoch.
Ah, was he? Serve the beggar right. Oh, by the way, I seem to see something behind this. Am I supposed to have done it, Wimsey?
I don't know. But there's a feeling that perhaps you ought to come forward and say something. You were looking for him, you know, on Monday night.
Yes, I was. And if I'd met him, there would have been murder done. But as a matter of fact, I didn't meet him.
You can prove that?
Oh, well, I don't know that I can if it comes to that. Well, this isn't serious, is it?
Again, I don't know. Let's have the story, Farron.
I see. Well, I came home about 6 o'clock on Monday, and I found out Blighter flirting with my wife. I was fed up, Wimsey. I hoofed him out, and I dare say I made a bit of an ass of myself with Gilda afterwards. I said a lot of silly things I didn't mean and so forth.
I can imagine. And then, finally, you stormed out, threatening murder and suicide, and went off to get drunk.
Well, that's right. Well, after I'd had one or two in town, I barged off to Gatehouse to find Campbell. Somebody told me they'd seen Campbell go out to Creetown, so I went after him.
No, you didn't. You went up the road to the golf links.
Oh, did I? Oh, yes, so I did. Well, I went to find Strachan, but he was out. I left a note or a message for him, I think. To tell the truth, I'm not very clear about it. But I think I told him I was going to Creetown to do Campbell in and to cut my own throat. Some rot or other. I see, poor old Strachan. He must have thought I'd murdered Campbell. Did he show that note to the police?
Not that I know of.
No, I suppose he wouldn't. Strachan's a good sort. Well, I went over to Creetown and managed to raise a bottle of whisky after closing time, and, well, I'm a bit vague about the next part of it. But I know I remember going up to the hills with some vague idea of chucking myself down one of the pits. I wandered round and then sat down and moralised a bit, with the help of the whisky. I must have been down drunk. Well, then, presently, I heard somebody shouting, and I shouted back, and shortly afterwards old Strachan appeared. He started talking and then tried to get hold of me, so I struggled and fought him. It was a lovely fight, I do know that, and I think I gave him a whopping black eye. The next thing I knew, it was quite well on in the next morning, and I was lying in a sort of hollow among the bracken, without so much as a headache. Well, I didn't know where I was, but I didn't care. I just knew I didn't want to go home. I was finished, done. I wanted to go gypsying.
When did you next meet somebody?
Oh, well, I walked and walked until I hit the road near New Bregodee, and from there I got a lift in a lorry to Dumfries. Oh, that must have been about 3 o'clock.
And then you came on here?
Yes, bribing lorry drivers for lifts.
Very jolly. But you know, Farron, it all boils down to this, that you can't produce a single witness to say where you were between Monday night and Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
All this isn't serious, really. I've got a perfectly natural, straightforward explanation, haven't I?
That sounds natural enough to me, perhaps. But whether the police will take that...
Oh, damn the police! I see, Wimsey. Does this mean I've got to go back?
I'm very much afraid it does. Come on, Farron.
So, DL, there you are. Strachan was protecting Farron, and Farron has now repaid the favour by explaining how Strachan came by his beautiful China. However, the whole story hardly adds up to a decent alibi for either of them.
No, my lord. Oh, it's a difficult case, right enough. Now, there's this business about Waters.
Waters? What about him?
I sent Constable Ross down to the dune. Waters's bicycle is not where he said it was. So, either there's a bicycle thief about, or Waters' alibi has collapsed. And the question I'm asking myself, my lord, is, should I arrest Waters for murder?
Episode 6, Evidence of a Commercial Traveller. Lord Peter Wimsey is working with the local police forces in their investigation of the murder of Sandy Campbell, an unpopular Galloway artist. All 6 suspects, fellow painters who'd recently quarrelled with Campbell, have now produced alibis, mostly rather unconvincing. Wimsey and Sergeant DL of Newton Stewart Police decide to report progress to Sir Maxwell Jimmerson, the Chief Constable.
Well now, Sir Maxwell. First, I would like to run through what we know of the movements of the murderer, proceeding by and by to the alibis of the 6 suspects.
Good idea, Sergeant. Oh, do smoke, Wimsey.
Yeah, thank you, Chief.
Now then, Campbell was last seen alive by a wee lassie called Helen McGregor at 9:45 p.m. last Monday night. That's a week ago today, sir. He was fighting with another man on the main Kirkcudbright to Gatehouse Road, and either in this fight, or possibly at some later stage in the evening, he was killed. The murderer seems to have decided quickly to fake an accident, and accordingly spent the night in Campbell's cottage, ate Campbell's breakfast, and then early in the morning went up to the Minnoch dressed in Campbell's hat and cloak, sat down and painted a picture in Campbell's style. A wee bit after 11 o'clock, he tumbled Campbell's body into the burn below, leaped onto a bicycle that he'd stolen the night before from the Anworth Hotel. It was positively identified by Scotland Yard last night, my lord. And he then bicycled to Girvan, where he took the 1:11 train to Ayr. At Ayr, he labelled the bicycle for Euston in order to lose it, and himself disappeared. And that is all we know about the crime, sir.
Very good, Sergeant. Then, what about these alibis?
Aye. Now, let us consider first Mr. Gowan. Mr. Gowan's butler, Alcock, told Inspector Macpherson that the gentleman left Kirkcudbright for London at 8 o'clock on Monday evening, and has been there ever since.
Well, that lets him out completely.
Aye, it would, sir. Except that we know Alcock is lying. Mr. Gowan was seen on the top floor of his house on Wednesday morning by the housemaid Betty, and he'd shaved off his beard.
That splendid beard? Whatever for?
Well, sir, we found tufts of black hair at the place on the main road where Campbell had his fight. And Inspector Macpherson's theory, Sir Maxwell, is that it was Gowan who murdered Campbell in the fight. He then cut off his beard on the spot to avoid being recognised as he went about the business of faking the accident.
Well, has Gowan been tracked down in London yet?
Inspector Macpherson interviewed him yesterday afternoon, sir, and the inspector should have got back early this morning.
Splendid. I dare say he'll have a tale to tell. Well, let's move on, then. Who has the next alibi?
Mr. Waters, sir, though he's only covered for the Tuesday morning. Now, he claims he was sailing all last week with an old friend, and says he went aboard down at the dune before 9:30 on Tuesday. Unfortunately for him, we haven't been able to contact this old friend.
Worse than that, in fact, Chief. He says he left his bicycle in a shed down at the dune, but it seems to have disappeared. Either it's been pinched, or it never was there in the first place.
Well, that'll sort itself out when the friend's found, I expect. Next?
Mr. Ferguson, Sir Maxwell. Campbell's next-door neighbour in Gatehouse. No alibi for Monday night, but on Tuesday morning he went to Glasgow via Dumfries.
Was he seen?
Aye, boarding the train at Gatehouse, and his ticket was correctly punched all the way to St Enoch Station, Glasgow.
Well, that sounds highly satisfactory. Who have we left out of your 6 suspects? Now, what about Jock Graham?
Sir Maxwell, on Saturday afternoon, A lady called Mrs. Smith le Measurer.
Oh, that woman.
Aye. She came into my station and told me, tears in her eyes, that Jock Graham had, how could she bring herself to admit it, had spent all Monday night with her.
Did she, by Jove? What about Tuesday morning?
That was the strange thing, sir. She seemed to think an alibi for Monday night would be sufficient.
Very interesting. Right-ho, who's left now? Just Henry Strachan and Hugh Farren, isn't it?
That's it, Chief. And they're best taken together. May I tell you about them?
By all means, Wimsey.
Thank you. Well, I tracked Farren down on Saturday afternoon in Westmoreland. He'd run away from here, and he said he had no idea that Campbell had been murdered.
Could he give himself an alibi, though?
Not one that means anything. He was last seen at about 9:15 on Monday night, very drunk and angry with Campbell, going up the road towards Strachan's house. He says he left a note for Strachan, saying that he was going to kill Campbell and then do away with himself.
Well, Strachan never told the police about that, did he?
No, Sir Maxwell. He was protecting his friend, you see.
Yes. Carry on, Wimsey.
Well, having failed to find Campbell, Farren wandered up towards the old lead mines near Fall Bay. Here Strachan eventually found him. Apparently they had a fight, which ended when Farren ran away. And the next thing Farren remembers is waking up the next morning and walking to New Brigadier, from where he proceeded by means of lifts to Westmoreland.
And Strachan?
Well, he didn't appear until after lunch on Tuesday. There's no knowing where he may have been.
Or what he may have been up to. Has he been interviewed since Saturday, dear?
No, sir.
Then maybe I'll pay a visit to Mr. Strachan. I must admit I shall be very interested to see whether he tells the same story as Farren, and I shall be even more interested to know what he was doing on Tuesday morning. Mr. Strachan, we have obtained a statement from Mr. Farren with reference to his movements on Monday night and Tuesday morning, which requires your corroboration.
Indeed? And what does Farren say that you'd like me to corroborate?
Yes, I'm afraid that won't do. It will be better, I think, if you give me an account of your own movements, starting, about 9 o'clock on Monday evening.
Oh, very well. At 9 o'clock, I was fishing up at Tongland.
Did you see anybody there?
I don't know that I did.
And when did you leave?
Round about 11 o'clock. The fish seemed to have lost enthusiasm, and so did I.
And then?
Then I went home like a good boy. I got home round about midnight.
What then?
I went out again in the car.
Why?
To look for Farren.
What made you do that?
I found a note from him waiting for me.
What was in the note?
He told me that he was going to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm. Did the note say nothing else?
No.
Mr. Strachan, we know the contents of the note. It would be altogether better if you told me the truth. Come along now. Mr. Farren has given us an account of himself. You no longer have any reason for reticence. What else did he say in the note?
He mentioned Campbell.
Yes?
He said he was going to kill him. I didn't take that in the least bit seriously, of course. It was clear from his writing that Farren was hopelessly drunk.
Indeed. Where did you go when you went out?
Well, I went to Campbell's cottage, as it happens.
To see if Farren was there?
Yes.
So you did take his threat seriously?
No, not at all. Well, not very seriously. It's simply that both Campbell and Farren are excitable men, and I thought there might be a great deal of unpleasantness if they met in that mood, and possibly a really nasty row.
Was there anybody at the cottage?
No. I knocked 2 or 3 times, and then as everything was dark, I went in. Everything was clean and tidy, and it didn't look as though Campbell had been in. He wasn't in bed, because I went upstairs to see. So I left a note for him on the table and came away again, relocking the door and putting the key back where I found it.
You left a note for him? What exactly did it say?
Oh, something like, "Dear Campbell, I'm rather anxious about F. He's in a highly wrought-up state and is threatening to do you some injury. Be on your guard." It was something like that, and I signed it with my initials.
What happened next?
Well, Farren had occasionally talked about suicide, and the old mines up by Creetown seemed to have a kind of morbid fascination for him. So I drove up there. I left my car where the road ends, just beyond Fall Bay, and went along on foot, calling Farren as I went. When I got close to the old mines, I thought I saw something move, and shouted again. Then I saw there really was a man there. He ran away, and I followed him and caught hold of him. He said, "What the hell do you want?"
Was it Farron?
Yes, it was.
Well?
Well, I argued with him for some time and tried to persuade him to come home. He absolutely refused and started to move off again. I took him by the arm, but he struggled with me, and in the confusion he hit me in the face and knocked me down. By the time I'd scrambled up again, he had got away. I ran after him. Well, I suppose I wasn't looking where I was going, because I tripped over a bunch of stuff and found myself falling head first, over the edge of the world, it seemed to me. I bumped and banged against what felt like balks of timber, and finally brought up against something. I was completely knocked out, of course. And when I eventually came to, several hours later, it was broad daylight, and I was able to see where I was.
Down one of the old shafts, I suppose?
Yes. Lord, what a place. Well, I don't suppose it was more than 40 feet deep, but that looked quite enough to me, and it went sheer up like a chimney. It was narrow, fortunately, and by spread-eagling myself, I managed very slowly to hoist myself to the top. God, it was hard work, but I did it in the end.
What time do you think that was?
I couldn't be sure, because my watch had stopped. Quite late in the morning, I suppose. Anyway, the next thing was to find the car. I calculated that I must be nearly 2 miles from Foul Bay, and decided that if I followed the flow of the burn, I must be going in the right direction, so I set off downstream. After a time, I came in sight of the road and the car. It was just where I'd left it, and the dashboard clock made it 12:15. I had a beast of a time starting her up, but I managed it after about a quarter of an hour, and eventually arrived back home at about 1:30.
I see. And what did you do when you got home?
Well, I rang up Farron's house at once, of course, to see if he was there. I hoped he might have come to his senses, you see, and gone quietly home. Well, he hadn't, as you know. So I told Mrs. Farron to say absolutely nothing to anybody, but that I would come over and see her after lunch, as I had something rather important to tell her.
And did you, in fact, go over to Kirkcudbright after lunch?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Well, I was going to, of course. I went down to open the gate for the car when I saw one of the members coming down from the golf course. Just opposite my gate, he met the gatehouse policeman. They didn't see me because of the hedge. The constable said, "Is the provost up at the golf course? He's wanted. Mr. Campbell's been found lying dead at Newton Stewart." After that, they moved further up the road, and I didn't hear any more, so I went back to the house to think about it.
What did you think about it?
I couldn't make up my mind.
That Farron had murdered Campbell, perhaps?
No.
You went over and saw Mrs. Farron late that night, is that correct?
I did.
What did you say to her? That you expected a charge of murder to be preferred against Farron, and that she was to be very careful what she said to the police?
Isn't that one of those questions which you are not supposed to ask, nor I to answer?
Have it your own way, Mr. Strachan. You seem to be well acquainted with the law. You know, for example, that an accessory to murder after the fact is liable to the same punishment as the principal.
Certainly I do, Sir Maxwell. I also know that you are not allowed to use threats, overt or implicit, in interrogating a witness. Now, is there anything further I can do for you?
Nothing, thank you.
Mind if I watch you paint, Waters?
Yes, I do. Why can't you go fishing, Wimsey, or take the car out for a run? I can't paint properly with you snooping round all the time. It puts me off my stroke. How would you like me to sit round and watch you detecting?
You can watch me now, there's no charge.
Oh. Are you detecting now?
Like anything. If you could take the top of my head off, you would see the wheels whizzing round.
I see. You're not detecting me, I hope.
Yes, well, everybody hopes that.
And look here, Wimsey, you're not suggesting anything. I've told you all about my movements, and I suppose you believe me.
Well, of course. But it's a pity about your bicycle being pinched from the dune, ain't it? Rather spoiled your alibi, what?
Oh. I don't want to discuss this stupid business.
No, nor do I. Go on, paint. Hello, Jock Graham's coming to see you.
I say, is Wimsey here? Sorry, Waters, but I must speak to Wimsey.
Carry on, Jock. I'm painting.
Wimsey, old man, I'm in the most ghastly hole. It's too awful. Have you heard about it? It's only just been sprung on me.
Go to, you have heard what you should not. Put on your nightgown, look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Campbell's dead. I cannot come out on's grave.
I wish he could.
Oh, horror, horror, horror. Where gotst thou that goose look?
Oh, do stop drivelling, Wimsey. Now, listen, you know that female at Newton Stewart, the Smith-Le-Measurer woman?
I've met her.
God, so have I. She got hold of me this morning.
Jock.
Do you know what she's done?
Of course. She's given you an alibi for the whole of Monday night. A lady's reputation has been sacrificed on the altar of affection. But, dear boy, we don't blame you. We know that rather than compromise a noble woman, you would have gone to the scaffold with your lips locked in a chivalrous silence.
My dear Wimsey, don't say you ever thought for one moment that there was a word of truth in it.
Frankly, I never did. I've known you do many rash things, but I gave you credit for seeing through Mrs. Smith-Le-Measurer.
I should hope so. What on earth am I going to do?
Yeah, it's awkward. Short of admitting where you really were that night, there's nothing for it but to accept the sacrifice, and with the sacrifice, the lady. And I greatly fear the lady means matrimony.
Oh, for God's sake. Well, I shall go and make it right with the police, of course, but what's the good? She's telling everybody. Nobody will ever believe now that there wasn't something in it.
Ain't life difficult? It all shows how careful you should be to tell the police everything at the first possible moment.
I know, but I didn't want to get anybody into trouble. Well, you see, Wimsey, the fact is, I was out poaching with Jimmy Fleeming up at Bargrennan. I thought it would be good fun. We were netting the pool just below the fall.
Oh, were you? That's the Earl of Galloway's water.
Yes. We were out all Monday night, and I had more whiskey than was good for me, so I stayed up there on Tuesday, and we had another go on Tuesday night.
You are an ass, Graham. Why the hell didn't you come and tell me about it in the first place?
You'd have had to tell the police.
Oh, I know, but that could have been squared. Is Jimmy Fleeman prepared to give evidence now?
I haven't said anything to him. How could I? Well, dash it, I'm not such a swine as to go and ask him. I've no doubt he'd back me up, but I can't ask him to. It isn't done.
By the way, you're sure that he can answer for you on Tuesday as well as Monday night?
Oh, yes. But Jimmy and a pal of his were hanging around most of Tuesday morning, off and on. Well, that doesn't matter a damn. The thing I want to get clear is the business about Monday night.
Yes, I know. But Tuesday morning is what's going to interest the police.
Good Lord, Wimsey, this rot about Campbell isn't serious, really.
That's what I say. We seem to be in the same boat, Graham. I'm supposed to have faked an alibi, too.
What is the evidence about the murder, if it is one? The only definite thing I've heard is that, according to the papers, it was done by an artist. Did the assassin leave his fingerprints behind in paint, or what?
Well, I can't tell you that, I'm afraid. But I don't mind saying this. The whole thing turns upon how quickly Campbell could have got that sketch done on Tuesday up at the Minnock. I wanted to take a painting party up there the other day to time them, but it was rained off. Yeah, I say, look here, that's a thought. Let's do it now.
What?
Well, both you two have claimed to me that you can imitate Campbell's style. You do the same painting as he did, and I'll time you. Well, half a jiff, I'll run round to the police station and borrow the sketch for you to copy. It won't be quite the same thing, but it'll give us an idea. Won't be a mo. And here it is.
Ah, that's the subject, is it? That's very characteristic. Almost ultra-characteristic. Don't you think, Waters?
That's exactly what one expects from the Campbells of this world. The trick degenerates into a mannerism, and they paint caricatures of their own style.
Yes. It's funny. The handling isn't altogether... How many people have seen this, Wimsey?
Only myself and the police so far. And the Procurator Fiscal, naturally.
Ah. Well, do you know, I should have said, if I didn't know what it was...
Well?
I should almost have thought I had done it myself. There's a slight flavour of pastiche about it. It's rather more cold and cobalty than Campbell's usual style. Looks as though he's been experimenting. There's a look of freedom about it somehow. Well, don't you think so, Waters?
No, I don't know. I call that a thoroughly Campbellish piece of work. A poor Campbell, if you like, but full of Campbellisms. Anyway, chuck it here. If we've got to copy the beastly thing, we better start. Can you see all right there, Graham?
Yeah.
I'll put the paints on the table here. And please don't throw them on the floor in your usual dirty way.
I do not. I collect them neatly in my hat if I'm not wearing it, and if I am, I lay them handily in the grass.
I'm not always fumbling about for them in a satchel like you.
What's wrong with my satchel? You don't expect me to go out like Farron with a sketching box, or like Gowan with a combined box and picnic basket?
Oh, Gowan's pure swank with his partitions with each colour and his portable kettle. Do you remember the day I pinched it and filled all the partitions up with fish?
That was a good ride. He couldn't use the box for a week because of the fishy smell. They had to stop painting because it put him out to have his arrangements upset. Right, I'm ready to start.
Are you standing by with your stopwatch, Wimsey?
I am. Both ready? Good. Now then. 1, 2, 3, go. Graham, 1 hour 40 minutes. Waters, 1 hour 55.
And what precisely does that prove, my lord?
It proves nothing, DL. But if, as we have been supposing up now, our murderer left the Minnock at 11:10 in order to catch his train, it means he probably started painting between 9:15 and 9:30.
Oh, here, my lord. Did I not tell you about the man who saw Campbell's car going up to the Minnock on Tuesday morning?
No, what about him?
He came in while you were away. He says a car with a man wearing a big hat and cloak passed the New Galloway turning on the road between Creetown and Newton Stewart at 5:20 to 10 that morning.
5:20 to 10?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at that rate, he wouldn't be up at the Minnock much before 10 o'clock.
No, my lord.
So allowing an absolute minimum of an hour and a half for painting, he couldn't have left the Minnock until 11:30. He'd have to be quite a cyclist, wouldn't he, to get to Girton by 7 minutes past 1?
Aye, my lord, it's 21 miles.
Yes. Yes, this will need thinking about. Anything else come up today? How did the chief get on with Strachan?
Oh, very well. There was a wee bit of new information that was very interesting. It appears Mr. Strachan went round to Campbell's cottage after midnight on Monday and went in, and found no one there.
Really?
Aye. And Sir Maxwell was wondering, if Gowan killed Campbell at 9:45 on the main road, what did he then do with the body? Up to now, we've been supposing he took it straight to Campbell's cottage.
Now, wait a moment, Sergeant. Not straight there. The first thing Inspector Macpherson's theory says Gowan did was to put the body in his own car and park it up a side lane. Then he drove Campbell's car to Gatehouse, probably stole the bicycle from the Anworth Hotel, and if so, rode back to the scene of the murder, if not walked, and only then returned to Campbell's cottage in his own car with the body. Couldn't that have taken over 2 hours?
If he walked, my lord, aye.
Yes. But there's still the problem of the third car, which little Helen heard tearing towards Cockubry about 15 minutes later. Who was that? Where is Inspector Macpherson, by the way? I thought he was back.
Aye, he should be, my lord. I dare say he's somewhere about the station.
Then I shall go and find him, Sergeant. I want to know what fun and games Gowan really did get up to that night.
Well, my lord, the first part of Gowan's story confirmed everything we were told by young Helen MacGregor. On one evening, he'd been fishing up on the Fleet and was driving back from Gatehouse to Cockubry at about 9:45 when he came across Campbell's car standing in the middle of the road, exactly at the point described by wee Helen, my lord. Campbell was undoubtedly drunk and spoiling for a fight, he says, so, to protect himself, he picked up a heavy King-Dick spanner that was beside him in the pocket of the car.
Would he have been wearing driving gloves by any chance?
Aye, my lord.
Oh, that explains the absence of any fingerprints but Campbell's, don't it? Go on, Macpherson.
Well, my lord, according to Gowan, he did not use the spanner until Campbell aimed a blow at him. When he did, caught him glancingly on the cheekbone. You remember the contusion there, my lord?
Certainly.
At once he jumped out of his car, and he does not deny that he and Campbell fought for several minutes in the middle of the road. However, from that point onwards, my lord, his account does not agree with wee Helen's.
In what way?
According to Gowan, my lord, it was Campbell who quickly proved the stronger of the two. He was soon sitting on Gowan's chest, and when he had him totally overpowered, he took from his pocket a pair of nail scissors and cut off not just Gowan's beard, but his hair, his eyebrows, everything, and then he knocked him out.
So Gowan was shaved by Campbell? Oh, well, that makes more sense than that he did it himself, certainly.
If you believe it, my lord.
What next, then?
It was presumably Gowan's unconscious body that was put into his car and parked up the side lane. By Campbell. Is that correct?
So he claims, my lord.
After which Campbell, still very much alive, continues home, arriving, according to Ferguson, shortly after 10 o'clock.
Aye.
Well, it doesn't get us any further forward as to when Campbell was murdered, but it does tell us one thing that we didn't know, Inspector. Who was driving the so-called third car back to Kirkcudbright? Clearly that was Gowan, awakened from his reverie, scooting home to avoid being seen looking like a skinned rabbit.
Aye, my lord.
You don't sound very convinced. Yeah, well, never mind. Assuming Mr. Gowan's story is true, there is still one big question that remains to be answered. The one posed by the chief. If Campbell got home safely, where was he when Strachan paid his midnight call?
Inspector, my lord, we should come out here. There's a wee man just come in, a motorist who says he passed your bicyclist on the way to Girvan last Tuesday. Well, could you come and hear his story?
Yes, of course. Lead on, dear.
He's in here. Mr. Clarence Gordon, Lord Peter Wimsey, Inspector Macpherson.
How do you do, my lord?
Be covered, Mr. Gordon. I fancy you may be asked to make a sworn statement.
What have you to tell us, Mr. Gordon?
Shall I start at the beginning? I'm a commercial traveller for the firm of Moss and Gordon, Glasgow. Ladies, dresses and hosiery. Here's my card. Yesterday my wife said to me, Clarence, there was a call come through on the wireless for travellers by the Begrennin Road to say they saw a bicyclist last Tuesday. Did you hear it? I said to her, no, I'm travelling all the week. It cannot always be listening to the wireless. Well, my wife tells me what it is, and I say, well, when I have time, I go to tell the police what I have seen. And here I am. It is very inconvenient and not good for business, but it is my duty as a citizen. I tell my firm, the boss is my brother, and he says, Clarence, you must tell the police, it cannot be helped. So I came here, and here I am with my story.
Aye, and what is your story, Mr. Gordon?
Oh, yes. I travel this district every Monday, spending the night at Newton Stewart and returning on Tuesday afternoon by the Bargrennan Road to Girvan and Ayr, where I have many good customers. Last Tuesday, I started from Newton Stewart in my limousine, as usual after an early lunch. I passed Bar Hill at a little after 12:30. I remember seeing the train go out of the station just before I got there. That is how I know the time. I had passed through the village when I saw a bicyclist in a grey suit riding very fast along the road in front of me. I say to myself, there is a man in a great hurry in the middle of the road. I must blow my horn loudly. He is wobbling from side to side, you understand, with his head down. I pass him, and I see his face very white and with spectacles. Well, that is all. I do not see him again, and he is the only bicyclist I see on all that road till I get to Girvan.
The only one?
Yes.
But that... He can't be our man, Inspector. The train leaves Bar Hill at 12:35. He couldn't possibly have ridden the 12 miles to Girvan in 32 minutes.
But where was our man, my lord? We know he arrived at Girvan station at 1:07. Therefore, Mr. Gordon here must have passed him.
No, only this one bicyclist.
And you say he had a grey suit and spectacles?
Yes.
Exactly the description of the man who took the bicycle to Ayr. It must have been our man, my lord.
But it couldn't be, don't you see? Even a trained bicyclist could hardly manage 24 miles an hour for 12 miles along that road. Not on the Anne with the Tell machine, anyhow. No, Inspector, I'm afraid we may have to rethink the whole Tuesday morning end of the business. The bicycle is just another red herring.
Episode 7, Council of War. Lord Peter Wimsey and the Galloway police are investigating the murder of Sandy Campbell, an unpopular local artist. It's the Monday afternoon after the murder, and the Procurator Fiscal has called a council of war. Present are Sir Maxwell Jimmerson, the Chief Constable, Inspector Macpherson, Sergeant D.L., Dr. Cameron, the police surgeon, Constable Ross, Constable Duncan, and Lord Peter Wimsey.
Very well, gentlemen. I think we may as well begin. Now, I'm given to understand by Sir Maxwell that you've all produced theories concerning this most regrettable murder. I think, however, before we hear those theories in detail, it would be as well if Sergeant D.L. of Newton Stewart, in whose district the body was found, could acquaint us with the known facts, such as they are. Sergeant?
Aye. Well now, my lord, Mr. Friscal, Sir Maxwell, and gentlemen, it would appear to be incontrovertible that this poor gentleman met his death sometime Monday night by the use of a blunt instrument, and that his body was conveyed up to the Minnoch on Tuesday morning, and deposited in the burn where it was found. Forby, I'm thinking we're all agreed that the person as killed him will have been an artist. Lord Peter Wimsey having pointed out that the painting found at the locus of the crime must have been executed by the murderer himself.
I think we're all agreed on that.
As it happens, there are only 6 artists in this district as had a motive for killing the deceased, and cannot be accounted for during the period covered by the crime. Namely, Mr. Farren, Mr. Gowan, and Mr. Waters in Kirkcudbright, and Mr. Strachan, Mr. Graham, and Mr. Ferguson in Gatehouse. At 6 o'clock on Monday evening, Campbell was thrown out of Farren's house by Farren. At 9:15 he had a fight with Waters in the McClellan Arms, here in Kirkcudbright. At 9:45 he was seen fighting with Gowan in the middle of the road to Gatehouse. Shortly after 10, his next-door neighbour, Ferguson, heard him but did not see him arrive home. At midnight, Strachan visited his cottage but found it empty. And the next morning, Jock Graham was seen near Bargrennan, just 2 or 3 miles from where the body was found. All 6 of these artists had recently quarrelled with Campbell, and not one of them possesses a satisfactory alibi for the whole period under consideration.
That seems a very adequate summary, Sergeant. You may as well go on and tell us what you make of the evidence.
Aye, Mr. Friscal. Now, taking everything into consideration, I am of the opinion that our inquiries should be directed to the movements of Mr. Farren. And for why? Because he had a much bigger motive for murder than the rest of them. He seems to have considered that the deceased was paying too much attention to Mistress Farren. I'm no saying a word against the lady, but that was the idea this Farren had got into his head. And when it's a matter of a man's domestic happiness there, to my thinking, you have a good cause for murder.
That's very shrewd, Sergeant.
Thank you, my lord. Now, we ken well that Farren set out by bicycle from Kirkcudbright at 7 o'clock on Monday evening with a fixed intention of finding Campbell and doing him some damage. At 8 o'clock, he was at Campbell's cottage and was seen by Ferguson. At 9:15, he got up to Strachan's house and left a letter to say he was away to kill Campbell. After this, he disappears, till we find him at 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon on the New Galloway Road.
What about the meeting with Strachan up by the lead mines at 2 o'clock in the morning?
I dinna think that took place, Sir Maxwell. It is my belief that Farren's movements from 9:15 onwards were as follows. Some time between 10 and midnight, after Campbell had arrived home, Farren let himself into his cottage and killed him. He hid the body and went out, and when Strachan arrived he was himself in hiding, perhaps in the garage. After Strachan's departure, Farren re-entered the cottage, destroyed the note Strachan had left for Campbell, put the body in the car, and matured his plan for making the death look like an accident up at the Minnoch next morning.
This necessitated eating Campbell's breakfast, did it not?
Aye, sir. And leaving the cottage exactly as normal for the daily woman, Mrs. Green.
At what time did Farren arrive at the Minnoch with the body?
About 10 o'clock. He then painted the picture, and at approximately 11:30 he threw Campbell's body into the Minnoch and departed on his bicycle, which he'd brought with him in the car. He bicycled to Fall Bay, left the machine in the vicinity of the disused lead mines, perhaps to give the impression he'd killed himself, and then walked by the New Galloway Road to Brigidee. From there he travelled by means of lifts to Westmoreland, as per his statement. And that is that.
That appears to me a very plausible and workmanlike conjecture, Sergeant.
That's damn good. Don't you think so, Chief?
I do, Wimsey. It seems to cover almost everything. and almost shakes me in my own convictions. It's so beautifully simple.
Is it not a wee thing too simple?
In what way, Macpherson?
Well, it doesn't take into account the remarkable episode of the bicycle stolen in Gatehouse on Monday night that reappeared in the left luggage office at Euston.
Och, I thought, sir, that we'd dismissed John Bicycle as a red herring. The evidence of Mr. Gordon, the commercial traveller, this afternoon proved conclusively, it seemed to me, that the murderer could not have been the man who bicycled to Girvan, boarded the train to Ayr, and from there dispatched the bicycle to Euston. Is that no right, my lord?
Perfectly. Unless, of course, our man was an exceptionally fast cyclist. But I've a fancy the inspector's got something deuced cunning up his sleeve to explain that bicycle ride. Would I be right, Macpherson?
I have a theory, my lord.
Any other comments, Chief Constable?
Yes, Mr. Fiscal. The really weak point of DL's story, if I may say so, seems to me to occur at the moment of the murder itself. I simply cannot believe that if it took place, as he says, at the cottage, between midnight and morning, it could have been done without disturbing Ferguson next door. However, if the murderer were in league with Ferguson, that objection would disappear, would it not?
You think Farron was in league with Ferguson, Sir Maxwell?
No, not Farron. No, I think Farron's story is true. It's too absurd and whimsical a story not to be true. And all Farron's alleged actions are exactly the sort of daft thing Farron would do. And Farron is not the man to plan out an elaborate fake like the planting of the body and the painting of the picture. Oh, the man who did that was perfectly cool and unemotional. And rather than losing himself in the suspicious way Farron did immediately afterwards, would, you may be sure, have reappeared in his usual haunts at the very first opportunity. He would be, in short, someone like Strachan.
The only man who admits to having been in Campbell's cottage after midnight, in fact.
Exactly, Wimsey. Now, the way I see it is this. Strachan got that note from Farron and went down to the cottage, as he said. He did not, however, find the cottage empty, as he claims. Rather, Campbell opened the door to him, and he went in and had an interview with Campbell, which ended in a violent quarrel and struggle. Ferguson was awakened by the noise and came in just at the moment when Strachan had knocked Campbell down and killed him.
Well, why did Ferguson not inform the police at once?
Well, I think there might have been difficulties about that. Both men were known to have quarrelled previously with Campbell, and I think Strachan probably threatened to bring a counter-accusation. Alternatively, of course, Ferguson simply couldn't bring himself to report Strachan for disposing of a man like Campbell. In any case, I fancy they realised that they were both of them in an exceedingly awkward position, and decided to help each other out if possible. Strachan was to establish the alibi for the night hours, while Ferguson did everything necessary in connection with the body, and Ferguson would then establish his alibi for the next morning, while Strachan painted the picture. The reason why they worked it that way is, I think, that Ferguson had already announced his intention of going to Glasgow in the morning, and that any sudden change of plan might appear odd. They now had to think of some alibi which Strachan could reasonably put forward at that hour of the night. And the best thing they could think of was that he should carry out his original intention of going after Farron.
But if you'll pardon my interposing, Sir Maxwell, was that not a very difficult and uncertain plan on which to rely? It was 100 to 1 against his meeting Farron. Would it not have been simpler to go to somebody else with a suitable story?
I don't think so, Mr. Fiscal. For one thing, it would have been awkward for Strachan to present himself in public at that moment on account of the black eye he'd sustained in his fight with Campbell. Moreover, he had an extremely good idea where Farron was to be found. Oh, I imagine his original intention was to take Farron home to his wife, and then explain the black eye as being due to a fall sustained in his search up at the lead mines.
Yes, all right, I pass that. Roll on, thou deep and dark blue ocean, roll.
Thank you. Well then, Strachan drove off to Fall Bay in search of Farron, leaving Ferguson to pack the body up and do all the necessary things about the house. And by the way, I may as well say at this point that I don't think any of you have paid sufficient attention to these things that were done about the house. The man who did them must have known a great deal about Campbell's manner of living. And who could that be but Ferguson, who was his next-door neighbour and employed the same daily woman?
Now, that's a damn good point, Chief, damn good. Of course, Mrs. Green would be full of information. One learns a lot about one's neighbours by listening to what is called kitchen talk.
I That's so.
Yes, when I came to think the matter over, that struck me very forcibly. But to go on with Strachan, there's no doubt he did find Farren up at Fall Bay. Unhappily, however, his plan came rather unstuck at this point. Farren, instead of coming quietly, escaped, and Strachan tumbled into a mine shaft just as he claims. This very nearly prevented him from carrying out his part of the plot at all. However, he did manage to extricate himself eventually, but not till about 9 in the morning, which made him very late picking up Campbell's car and going up to the Minnoch.
The car had presumably been packed by Ferguson and left in some secluded spot between Fall Bay and Gatehouse.
That's it.
Uh-huh. And after Ferguson had hidden the car, I take it he went back home, ate his breakfast, and then caught the omnibus for Gatehouse Station.
Exactly.
He must have been full of breakfast by that time, having already eaten Campbell's.
My dear man, if you're covering up a murder, you wouldn't let a trifle like a second breakfast stand in your way.
If I were covering up a murder, I would feel no appetite even for one breakfast. Constable Duncan is unamused. I take it you have a theory, Duncan, which conflicts with those so far offered.
Aye, sir, I have. Them two theories is just fine, and I'm not saying the contrary. But man, they're just awful complicated. It makes my head spin only to think of them.
Well, if you've a better or simpler idea to offer, by all means put it forward.
I was just thinking, and begging your pardon, Dr. Cameron, whether it was not after all possible that the man was killed the same day he was found. You'll not be offended, Doctor.
Not at all. Speak out your mind, man. This business of speaking to the precise time of death is not so easy as you'd think by reading detective novels. In my experience, the older a medical man gets, the less willing he is to make ex cathedra pronouncements, and the more he learns that nature has her own way of confounding self-confident prophets.
I've just been reading a wee book about the subject. It's a grand book, and it was given me by my father for my last birthday. It's called Forensic Medicine and Toxicology by Dixon Mann, and there's grand reading in it for a man in our profession. There's a passage in it which I'd like to get your opinion on, Doctor. It's about the death stiffening.
Rigor mortis?
Aye. Now, here's what this man says, and he'll be a great authority, for my poor father paid a terrible deal of money for the book. Under ordinary circumstances, the skeletal muscles begin to stiffen in from 4 to 10 hours after death. 4 to 10 hours. Now, that's a margin of 6 hours error, is it not, Doctor?
Aye.
And here again he says, the average duration of cadaveric rigidity, that is of this rigor, is 24 to 48 hours. Will you allow maybe that this great authority isn't so very precise?
I'll allow that, yes.
Well, now then, Doctor, when you saw this corpse at 3 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, how stiff was he?
He was quite stiff. That is, to employ the stately language of your great authority, the cadaveric rigidity was fully established. This made it probable that the man had been dead for not less than 6 hours, and possibly as much as 17 hours. However, Campbell was a man in vigorous health, and he died from a sudden blow. If you consult that authority of yours a bit further on, Duncan, you'll see it says that, under these conditions, the onset of rigor is likely to be slow.
In other words, he died probably 12 hours at least before his body was found.
All the evidence indicates that, Mr. Fisker.
Aye, Doctor, but according to Dixon Mann, when the subject is exhausted and depressed in his physical strength, the rigidity may come on very quick. Now, I was thinking that yon Campbell, with all his fighting and whiskey drinking, must have passed an awful exhausting night. Then he's away out early in the morning without his breakfast, as was established by examination of his insides, and drives his car 27 mile. Well, would he not be sufficiently exhausted with all that to stiffen up quick when he was killed?
You seem to have thought this out, Duncan. I see I shall have to be very careful. Well, there are very few things impossible in nature, and an error in diagnosis is not one of them. It is possible, though I would say highly unlikely, that Campbell was not killed until Tuesday morning.
Ugh, what are you getting at, Duncan? It's to be hoped you can give a good reason for your presumption. You'll kindly excuse him, Doctor. Duncan's a good lad, but he's overzealous.
Well, Sergeant and sirs, the point I started from was this. that out of all 6 suspects, there's not one that's been proved to have been nigh the place where the corpse was found, only Mr. Graham.
Aye, that's a fact.
Of course, he says now that he was poaching with Jimmy Fleming, and Jimmy will bear him out that he was with him all Tuesday morning. But heck, Jimmy Fleming's the biggest liar in the stewartry. For by Graham is well liked by that poaching lot. There's not a man among them that wouldn't swear to a wee lie or so to protect Graham.
Aye, that's true enough, and it's no need for them to be telling such a big lie, neither. They'd be up half the night with their poaching and sleeping half the day. What's to hinder Graham walking off and painting his bit picture without them knowing?
What indeed, Inspector? Say Campbell arrives at the Minnock at 8:30, sits down and gets his painting things out. Graham, taking his morning walk, gets along there at, say, 8:45. They quarrel, and Campbell is knocked into the river and killed. At 9 o'clock summertime, Graham might reasonably begin to do his painting. It takes him an hour and a half, we know that, because we've seen him do it. Well, at least I have. That brings us to 10:30. But we know he was still there at 11:05, so we'll have to give him till then. That's quite likely, because if, when I saw him, he was merely copying his own painting, he'd probably do it quicker than his original effort. As soon as he's finished, and the road is free of inquisitive passers-by, he strolls back to his sleeping friends, who will subsequently be ready to swear that they never took their eyes off him the whole time. That's your theory, is it, Duncan?
Aye, that's it.
And it's not a bad one either, as far as it goes. But it has at least 3 snags. But I dare say that they could be demolished with a little goodwill. First, the doctor has got to be all wrong with his calculations. But as he doesn't seem to mind that, neither need we. Secondly, who ate Campbell's breakfast? We know someone did, because Mrs. Green reported egg and bacon missing and a dirty plate on the table. Well, we can suppose that, having drunk rather deeply the night before, he nevertheless courageously cooked his egg and rasher, and having cooked them, didn't like the look of them and shot him into the fire. However, the big snag in Duncan's ingenious reconstruction, it seems to me, is the man who saw Campbell's car on its way up to the Minnock at the advanced hour of 9:35. I'm afraid Duncan hasn't accounted for him at all. Still, we can say that he was mistaken. If a doctor can be mistaken, so can an honest workman. He didn't see the number of the car, so it may have been another Morris.
Ah, but he reported all the piled-up stuff under the rug at the back, and the driver's conspicuous hat and cloak. You can't get away from them, Wimsey.
Can't I? Yes, you don't know me. I could get away from a galloping fire engine. You've been advertising for a Morris car driven by a man in a loud cloak with a pile of luggage behind, haven't you? Well, you know what happens when you advertise for things. A man sees something that corresponds to part of the description and imagines the rest. Probably 20 cars drove over the main road from Castle Douglas to Stranraer that morning, and probably half of those had luggage in them. Several of them may have been driven by gentlemen whose dress was more noisy than discriminating. Your man had no very particular reason for using the car at the time, except that he shot out on it unexpectedly. He was probably riding carelessly himself. The car gave way and annoyed him, and thinking to persuade himself that he had an encounter with his Tobago claims to justice, he's not going to stick at remembering the few things that weren't there. Plenty of people who are often ready to remember more than they saw.
That's awful true. I'll tell you a thing I like about this theory, Duncan. It makes it appear likely that the crime was unpremeditated. Now, it's more likely that Graham, coming suddenly from Campbell like that, could quarrel with him and knock him down, than that anybody could contrive a scheme to carry a dead body all those miles and plant it in force of a tree.
The place was more or less forced on the murder, was it not, by Campbell's expressed intention of painting there that day?
You're an innocent man, that supposition presents no difficulty at all. But the murderer might well be oversimplified, even to the point of risking the miscarriage of his plan by an unnecessary verisimilitude.
That's true, Inspector. And since it's clear that you're not altogether satisfied with any of the theories, let's have yours now.
Thank you. I believe that Gowan killed Campbell when they fought in the middle of the main cathedral at the Gatehouse Road at 9:45 on Monday night. Gowan knew. During that time, Campbell overpowered him and cut off his beak, and then knocked him out and put him in his car, which he subsequently left at the time.
When you say his car, Inspector, do you mean
Gowan's car? I believe so. As we originally thought, it was the other way round. Gowan was the victor of the struggle for the simple reason that he killed Campbell during it.
Having done so, first consideration is to remove the corpse from the road, and this he effected by putting it in his own car and driving it up the side lane.
Why did Gowan choose his own car?
For reasons of speed. His own car was near the lane, and he had removed it to get Campbell's car. However, once he had removed the body from the public highway, he then drove Campbell's car to the lane also, transferred Campbell into it, and drove home to Kirkcudbright. He drove very fast, incidentally, and was observed by the witness Helen McGregor.
Did Gowan leave Campbell's body up the side lane all night then?
Oh, sir, having reached home, he turned round and came straight down, but this time with Campbell was shorter by his side. On reaching the lane, the witness he told Campbell to take his home, but he drove Campbell to the gate. And, on reaching Campbell's cottage, he placed the car in the garage, which is where he was incidentally, when Strachan paid his midnight visit. Finally, he conceived his plan of simulating the action of the Campbell. Since his last here, it appeared his investigation was sufficient to fall with Campbell's razor and destroyed the hair in the fire, except...
What other purpose, Inspector?
The plant has a Wimsey to lend support, should the fact of murder come out, to his story of being barbered by Campbell. A story, in fact, that he was obliged to tell.
Very well, carry on.
Thank you, sir. At 7:30 next morning, approximately, Gowan set off, disguised as Campbell, in the poor man's car. Now, the reason he took so long to arrive at the Minnoch, in my opinion, is that he proceeded first to some town or village as yet to be ascertained, to make a secret telephone call to Hammond. In this call, he instructed Hammond to meet him with the car at about midday, somewhere between the Minnoch and Girvan. Gowan then proceeded to the site on the Minnoch and painted his picture. At about 11:30, he pitched Campbell into the barn, mounted the bicycle he had stolen from the Anworth Hotel the night before, and rode off towards Girvan. As he was passing Bar Hill, he was overtaken by yon commercial traveller, Mr. Clarence Gordon. Shortly afterwards, he met Hammond, and travelled the rest of the way to Girvan by car, which accounts for his doing the journey so quickly. Just outside Girvan, Hammond alighted, cycled to the station, got the train to Ayr, and dispatched the bicycle from there to Euston. Meanwhile, Gowan lay low until nightfall, and then returned in the car to Kirkcudbright. And that is the case against Gowan, as presented by me.
Ingenious, sir, and ingenious, sir. There are a good many details that need verification, but the whole thing's very pretty indeed. What a shocking set of crooks these English servants are. Not even murder will turn them from their feudal devotion to the man who pays.
You're trying to make a fool of me, my lord.
Oh, indeed no, indeed no. One thing in your story pleases me particularly, and that is that you bravely tackled the business of the bicycle at Euston, which everybody else has fought child. Constable Ross, you've been splendidly silent for a long time, but I perceive from your manner that you at last have something to say. Moreover, I suspect that to you also the word bicycle has not been devoid of significance. Would I be correct?
Aye, my lord. But not that bicycle. Another one.
Another one? Yeah, then with permission of these other gentlemen, I should greatly like to hear your version of the matter.
Chief Constable?
Carry on, Ruff.
Aye, thank you, sir. Well, the thing that's in my mind is this man Waters, who had yon fight with Campbell on Monday night in the McLennan Arms here, and then disappeared for 5 days. Well, he has a very unsatisfactory alibi to my way of thinking.
He claims he spent those 5 days sailing with an old friend, a Mr. Tom Druitt. Is that correct?
Aye, Mr. Fiscal. But we haven't established communication with this man Druitt and his sailing yacht, and even if we had, and he confirmed Waters was with him the whole time, who's to say he's not in it too?
Well, what's your idea then, Russ?
Well, Sir Maxwell, 'tis this, and 'tis awful clear and simple to my thinking. Now, here's Campbell, foul as a puggy and looking for trouble. Oh, he has a row with Waters, and he says it'll not end there. So later that night, after his fight with Gowan, he drives back to Kirkcudbright and chucks stones at Waters' window. Well, Waters comes down, and there they go away to his studio to fight it out, and Campbell's killed. Well, Waters is now in an awful pickle, and doesn't know what to do. Well, he's coming out of the studio in a distracted condition when he meets his friend Druitt, that's visiting there with his hired car. And they put their heads together and makes a plan. Well, while Waters goes away in Campbell's car and does the gatehouse end of the business, Druitt will go back to Mrs. MacLeod's lodging house and impersonate Waters. Well, you'll mind that Mrs. MacLeod didn't set eyes on Waters at all after she saw him go out at midnight.
You mean Druitt at Waters' breakfast and all?
Aye, sir.
Yeah, be an awful risk.
Well, aye, but murderers mun take half the risks. After breakfast, Druitt goes aboard at the Doon. Oh, he was the man as was seed, and of course the reason Waters' bicycle wasn't found down there was because he took it with him up to the Minnoch.
So after painting the picture, Waters bicycled across country to somewhere like Lady Bay and was picked up by Druitt in the yacht.
Aye, my lord.
And Waters' bicycle?
Well, in my opinion, it's down in the deep waters between Arran and Stranraer, and you'll never see it more till it rises out of the sea to bear witness on the great day of judgment. Well, unless you search for it with deep-sea tackle. Man, it's as plain as the nose on your face.
Well, all these theories are very interesting, gentlemen, but they're all conjectural. I congratulate you all extremely upon your ingenuity and hard work. But to say which theory is the most probable is a harder choice than that between Portia's caskets. However, we can at least feel certain that one among the 5 theories presented to us must be the true one, and that's something. Do you not think so, Lord Peter?
Yes, Wimsey. Are you in a position to give a casting vote? Which of our suspects is the murderer?
This is the proudest moment of my life. At last I really feel like Sherlock Holmes. A chief constable, a police inspector, a police sergeant, and 2 constables have appealed to me to decide between their theories. And with my chest puffed out like a pouter pigeon, I can lean back in my chair and say, "Gentlemen."
Yes?
"You are all wrong."
Episode 8, Reconstruction. At the meeting called by the Procurator Fiscal to discuss the murder of Sandy Campbell, the policemen present, Sir Maxwell Jimmerson, the Chief Constable, Inspector Macpherson, Sergeant D.L. and Constables Ross and Duncan have all presented their theories. Called upon to say which of the 5 is, in his view, correct, Lord Peter Wimsey has stated that they're all wrong.
Damn it, Wimsey, we can't all be wrong.
You remind me of the steward who said to the Channel passenger, "You can't be sick here." You are all wrong, but one of you is less wrong than the rest. None of you's got the right murderer, and none of you has got the whole of the method right, though some of you have got bits of it. Let's go back to the discovery of the body in the Minnoch last Tuesday. Campbell had apparently been painting, but I suspected at once that he'd been murdered because something was missing. What, D.L.?
The tube of flake white paint, my lord.
Precisely. It was the murderer who painted the picture, and for some reason he'd taken the flake white away with him. Now, why should he have done something so likely to arouse suspicion, Well, I reasoned he must have taken it by mistake, and that meant that he must have automatically bestowed it about his person somewhere. In a pocket was the likeliest place. So from that moment I felt we ought to look about for a painter with the untidy habit of dropping paints into his pockets. Next thing was, why should a murderer hang around the place of the crime painting pictures? Obviously to disguise the fact that Campbell had been killed at some other time, probably the previous night. Now that meant that the murderer hadn't got a good alibi for the previous night, but was preparing himself a cast-iron alibi for the particular morning. Any questions so far, Fiscal?
No, I don't think so. Carry on.
Yeah, thank you. Let us then consider the alibis of our 6 suspects. Strachan and Farron can speak for each other for at least part of Monday night, but neither can account for himself satisfactorily on Tuesday morning. Ferguson, on the other hand, is an excellent alibi for the morning, established by independent people like station masters and bus conductors. Gowan and Graham have poor alibis for both periods, supported as they are only by proven liars. And Warty's alibi for Tuesday will probably turn out to be watertight, as soon as his friend Druitt is contacted. Now, what you are all panting to know is, what do these 6 people do with their colours? Which one drops his paints into his pocket,
Which one, my lord?
Well, I've watched all of them at work in the past week. They're all except Gowan, that is, and I found out about him from Graham and Waters. He's a fearfully spick-and-span fellow, it seems, and can't paint without having everything just so. Not our man, in short. Waters habitually chucks his paints into a satchel. Consequently, with Campbell's satchel handy, he would naturally have chucked them into it. Graham puts his tubes on the ground or in his hat. Farron uses a sketching box. While watching Strachan, I took the opportunity to abstract a tube of cobalt, but he missed it instantly when he came to pack up, though he was all of a dither at the time. So he obviously wasn't the man to go off with an incriminating tube of flake white in his pocket. And finally, we come to Ferguson. Ferguson always puts paint in his pocket. I saw him do it. Ferguson and nobody else faked that picture and established that alibi. And Ferguson murdered Campbell.
But that's all very well, Wimsey, and it sounds quite convincing, but unless you can break down Ferguson's Tuesday morning alibi, it goes for nothing at all. Now, we know that he caught the bus from Gatehouse up to the railway station, and he was seen to board the 9-8 to Dumfries. His ticket was duly punched at Maxwell Town, between Gatehouse and Dumfries, and again at Hurlford and at Mauchline between Dumfries and Glasgow St Enoch. The train arrived at Glasgow at 2:16, and at 10 minutes to 3, he was in the showrooms of Sparks and Crisp, motor salesman, inquiring about having his magneto repaired. Now, if he was doing all that, how could he have been up at the Minnock 40 miles away pretending to be Campbell?
Now, wait a minute. I'll tell you what I propose to do, with your permission. Tomorrow is Tuesday again, and we shall find all the trains running as they did on the morning of the alibi. We will go down to Campbell's cottage tonight and reconstruct the whole course of events from beginning to end. I will play Ferguson and will undertake to show you exactly how the thing was worked. Now then, we shall want a smallish, heavyish man to be Campbell. All the police blokes are too big. I'm afraid it'll have to be you, Sir Maxwell.
Oh, I don't mind, provided you stop short at throwing me into the burn.
No, I won't do that. But you will have to do some very uncomfortable motoring, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Then we shall want 2 observers. One to stay with the corpse, and one to keep an eye on me. And they'll get a lot of strenuous exercise. How about you, Fiscal?
No, I'm out old for traipsing about the country.
Then it had better be Inspector Macpherson and Sergeant DL. You can come as a passenger, Fiscal, if you like.
All right, thank you.
Ross and Duncan had better watch Ferguson in case he bolts. And we'll all start by having a very good dinner. The excitement officially begins at Ferguson's cottage at 10 o'clock. With your permission, Ferguson, we are going to reconstruct the events of last Monday night, and we would like to use your house to observe from.
I trust we'll not be putting you out, Mr. Ferguson.
Not at all, Fiscal. Come in. What happens first, Wimsey?
Well, shortly after 10, you started getting ready for bed, isn't that right?
Yes.
Would you do that now, please?
Yes, of course. Do I put out the light?
Did you put out the light?
Yes.
Put it out, then.
Do I go to bed?
Did you go to bed?
Yes.
Go to bed, then. Now, then. Listen. Here comes Sir Maxwell. Do you hear that, Ferguson?
Yes.
What is it?
Campbell's car.
Right here. Thank you. Here we go. What the bloody hell are you doing, Campbell? Mind where you're going, you drunken ass. You'll have that wall down again.
Oh, not you again. Who the blazes do you think you are? Get out of my way.
Oh, shut up.
Right. I've had enough of you.
You filthy drunken oaf. I'll settle your hash once and for all. Take that.
Oh.
And that.
Oh. Ow. Oh.
There we are.
Oh.
Bang.
Ow.
Bang.
Oh. Ow. Oh.
All right, Chief. All right, Chief. All right, Chief. Lie down there. That's enough.
Oh.
That'll teach you, you loud-mouthed bastard. Campbell. Oh, my God, no. No. Campbell. Wake up.
Is he dead yet, my lord?
Oh, hello, Sergeant. As Muffin, I'm afraid.
Uh-huh.
How did Ferguson take it upstairs?
Badly. But he denies it, says he heard nothing of the kind.
Yeah, naturally he would.
I told him the fight had probably taken place in the road, but it was more convenient to do it now in private.
Did he accept that?
I don't know. But he asked if he could go to the Hanworth Hotel for the night. Inspector Macpherson doesn't see why not. Ross and Duncan will keep watch.
Good. I hope you'll sleep well. Could you fetch some whiskey, Sergeant?
My lord. I'll bring it out.
Thank you.
Right, Corpse, I am now going to carry you into the garage. Up. Oh, I see. All right, shut up, sir. You're dead, don't you understand? And I can't drag you. I might leave marks. Here we go. Steady the buffs. Now then, down you go gently. There. Now I have got to start thinking out my plan of escape. Can't I make it look like an accident? That's it. The accident's the thing, and an alibi.
Wimsey.
I'm sorry, growing restive, Corpse? All right, here comes the Earl with the whiskey. You can sit up now and we'll all have a drink.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant.
My lord.
Now listen, both of you. My overmastering necessity is to get to Glasgow tomorrow because I have announced my intention of going, and I shall be feeling morbidly nervous about making any changes of plan. Now here we have the great work of literature, the LMS timetable. Style slightly telegraphic, but packed with interest. I got it out of Ferguson's place just now, on the road map too. Now then, after studying these for half an hour or so, I shall have thought out a plan of action. It'll be something like this. After depositing Campbell in the Minnoch at 11:25 tomorrow morning, I shall bicycle to Bar Hill, here, and catch the 12:35 to Glasgow. Incidentally, I shall have to steal a bicycle sometime tonight, and I'd be grateful if you could provide one, DL, because the real one's still sitting patiently at Euston, waiting to be picked up.
You mean the bicycle stolen from the Anworth Hotel comes into it after all?
Yes, it does.
But, my lord, the traveller with yon bicycle caught the train further up the line at Girvan. He didn't go to Bar Hill.
No. I think something happened to make him change his mind. He was seen at Bar Hill, though, DL, by our commercial traveller friend, Mr. Clarence Gordon.
Aye, my lord, but Mr. Gordon overtook him in his car.
The sergeant's correct, Wimsey. I mean, you yourself calculated that the bicyclist would have had to travel at 24 miles an hour between Bar Hill and Girvan in order to catch that train. Are you saying that Ferguson is capable of that kind of speed?
You'll see, Chief. Let's come back to the present. Between now and morning, I, in my role as murderer, you understand, shall prepare Campbell's cottage to give the appearance that he slept the night and breakfasted as normal. Now, another thought. All this alibi I'm preparing depends, as you will see, on my catching the 9:08 train from Gatehouse tomorrow morning. But I told a whole lot of people that I was going to drive to Dumfries and take the 7:35 from there. Now, why should I change my mind? It'll look very funny. I know. The car. Something wrong with the car. Now let me... magneto trouble. Yes, that's good. I'll bash the magneto with a spanner and then take it along for repair to Sparks and Crisp in Glasgow tomorrow. Yeah, that should help my alibi too. What else? I am spending the night in Glasgow, so I must pack an attaché case. Also a Burberry and a soft hat. Oh, and some sun-glare glasses belonging to Campbell I saw in his cottage. They'll be a good aid to disguise. And that's about it until morning. Apart from going out and stealing the bicycle.
What happens in the morning, Wimsey?
Well, we will get up at about 5. My first job will be to dampen Campbell's shaving brush and toothbrush and so on, and leave the soap and towels wet too. After that, I shall eat Campbell's breakfast. Then it'll be time to load up the car, which won't be much fun for you, I'm afraid, Chief, as you'll have to go between the seat and the floor with all the painting equipment and the bicycle on top.
Oh, thank you very much.
At 6:15, we leave home.
For the Minnoch?
Oh, heavens no. No, I shall leave the car somewhere on the old Creetown Road, hidden behind a wall. Not more than a few hundred yards from Gatehouse Station, I hope. Then I shall walk back here, keeping out of sight. At 8 o'clock, when Mrs. Green arrives, I shall be eating my own breakfast. And at 8:30, I shall catch the bus back to Gatehouse Station in time to catch the 9:08 to Dumfries.
I still don't quite understand that part, Wimsey. I mean, if you catch the 9:08, how will you get up to the Minnoch?
You'll see, Chief, you'll see. Or rather, you won't, because you'll be in the car with the L. But Inspector Macpherson will be with me at Gatehouse Station. He'll tell you what transpired. All will be revealed by, let's say 9:15 tomorrow morning. Hello, Chief.
Wimsey!
My lord!
Where on earth have you sprung from? You're meant to be on the train.
Yes, well, as I said, Inspector Macpherson will explain. Well, carry on, Inspector.
Thank you, my lord. You should have been there, Sir Maxwell. And you, Sergeant. His Lordship and I were standing on the platform. The train came in. His Lordship shook my hand and climbed aboard, exchanging a wee joke with the guard, as I dare say Mr. Ferguson did last week, to draw attention to himself, you care. Suddenly it occurred to me that I ought to be with his lordship. Well, I darted to the carriage window and looked in. He wasn't there. The compartment was empty. the oldest dodge in the whole bag of tricks. He'd gone in one side and out the other.
Do you mean to say that's what Ferguson did, Wimsey?
I do. There's a path through the station master's garden, which is on the other side of the line. By the time the train went out, he was out of sight behind the station building and on his way on foot back here to Campbell's car.
But his ticket was correctly punched all the way to Glasgow.
So it was. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Come along, we're keeping the Fiscal waiting in the other car. Let's get you packed up again, corpse. I'll put on Campbell's hat and cloak, and then, next stop, the minute. Right, corpse, you can come out now.
Thank you. Oh, what have I done to deserve all this?
I'm sorry, sir. If you'd really been dead, you wouldn't have noticed it, but I didn't like to go as far as that. And now, what's the time? Just on 10 o'clock. Splendid. We have now got an hour and a half. I ought to paint the picture, I suppose, but as that is beyond me, I thought we might have a little picnic. There's some grub in the other car. They're just bringing it up.
I could do with something to drink.
And you shall have it, sir. Come along, McPherson. Let's have that hamper. Sit you down, Fiscal. Dear, let's open some bottles. We've got an hour and a half to enjoy ourselves. 11:25. Corpse time. Yes, Maxwell, I regret to say, is when you go bumpety-bump into the water.
Oh, is it? Well, I draw the line there.
It would, I agree, make you rather a wet blanket on the party, so we'll suppose it's done. Well now, pack up, you languid aristocrats, and return to your Rolls-Royce, while I pant and sweat on this confounded bicycle. First stop, Bar Hill. I think Ferguson meant to catch the train there, but something went wrong. Anyway, let's see how long it takes. And I'm right, you see. It's 12:33 now, and the train isn't due till 12:35. Oh, I could do it. Perhaps Ferguson started late and missed it. I don't know why. Listen, here he comes. Yes, and she's right on time. Now listen, I'm not going to stop bicycling until she's pulled out of the station again. Speaking as the murderer, I may say that my position is pretty hopeless. She's a local as far as Girton, but no cyclist could possibly keep up with, let alone overtake, even a stopping train. I shall just have to carry on through the village and wait for a miracle.
What sort of miracle, my lord?
You'll see, McPherson, you'll see. Keep close behind me, and you'll see.
The train's well ahead now, Fiscal. I dunno. See how he'll get to Girvan by 1:06.
There's a car coming up behind us, Inspector.
Gosh, it's our old friend Clarence Gordon on his weekly run. I'll wave him on. This is exactly the point at which he said he overtook a cyclist.
There he goes. Look, Inspector.
His lordship's caught hold of the back. That's how he did it. A free ride all the way to Girvan.
Splendid. Chief Constable?
Indeed.
I will hope his lordship's not killed.
Oh, he's safe enough, providing his tyres hold out. That's a very long-headed young man for all his blether. At this rate, we'll be beating the train, all right.
We ought to pass at Penmore, sir. And, with luck, we'll all be aboard at Girvan.
Oh! Made it. Oh, say, everyone all right?
Aye, my lord. We're fine, my lord.
And may we say, well done, Wimsey. Quite splendid.
Thank you. It's all gone very prettily so far, hasn't it? Damn, this thing's like flypaper.
What on earth is it?
It's a luggage label for Euston. Simple as shielded peas. I pinched it while the porter chappie was wheeling my bike off the guard's van. Already gummed, too. Fortunately, the pigeonhole was labelled, so I didn't have to hunt for it.
Is that for the bicycle?
Correct, Chief. I shall just slap this on when I take the bicycle off at air,
and leave the machine leaning against a wall, confident that some efficient myrmidon of the railway company will eventually bung it on the London train.
So that's how the trick was done. We knew no labels had been taken at Ayr, certainly not while this train was waiting at the platform.
That's the right thinking, DL. I, as murderer, want to get to Glasgow as quickly as possible, and therefore I must travel on this train, which is an express from Ayr on. Now, she waits 6 minutes at Ayr, and in that time I shall leave the station, pop into a back street public convenience, change my cap for a soft felt hat, and put on the Burberry. I shall also remove these spectacles. This label means I won't have to waste any of those 6 minutes getting rid of the bicycle.
But, Lord Peter, you're not forgetting, are you, that this train does not reach Glasgow St Enoch until 2:55? And according to these motor people, Sparks and Crisp, Mr. Ferguson was in their showrooms at 10 minutes to 3.
That's what they say. But Ferguson didn't say that. He said about 3. I fancy, with luck, we may be able to reconcile those two statements. We shall take a fast taxi from St Enoch and see. Well, this is Sparks and Crisp, gentlemen. The time is 3:05. Don't let's all go up to the counter in a bunch. You come with me, Sir Maxwell, and the others can drift over afterwards.
Anything you say, Wimsey.
We won't waste time. Let's hide a moment behind the screen. Now, fix your eyes on that young shop assistant laddie. See how impressionable he is. We'll count up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now watch this. See here, Sonny.
Sorry, sir, yes.
Do you want to do any business today, or don't you? I've got an appointment, and I can't wait here all afternoon. I've been hanging around here for the last 10 minutes.
Very sorry, sir. What can I do for you?
Well, have a look at this. More agents for these magnetos, aren't you?
Yes, sir, that'll be out of Mr. Saunders. If you'd like to step this way, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Saunders, a gentleman to see you.
Oh, jolly good. Hello. Now, look here, old horse. You've seen this magneto before, I fancy?
Yes. All right, Burkett, thank you. Yes, to be sure, quite. Number XX/47302. Yes, now, when do we have number XX/47302 through our hands, Miss Madden?
One moment, sir. Yes. It came in for repairs exactly a week ago, Mr. Saunders. It belongs to a Mr. Ferguson of Gatehouse of Fleet. He brought it in himself. Defect in armature winding. Returned to him the day before yesterday.
Yes, exactly. I hope it's okay now, Mr.
Sergeant?
Aye, my lord.
Come along in. After that, Mr. Saunders, you may remember getting a visit from my friend here, Sergeant D.O.
Oh, absolutely. What is all this?
You told him then that Mr. Ferguson came in here last Tuesday afternoon at about 10 minutes to 3.
Did I? Oh, yes, I remember. Mr. Crisp called me in. But I didn't say that. Burkett said that. The young man in the showroom, don't you know? Said the customer had been waiting 10 minutes. Yes, I didn't see the chappie when he came in, you know. I found him waiting when I got back from lunch. I was a little late that day, I think, yes. Mr. Crisp rather hauled me over the coals, I remember.
When exactly did you come in, Mr. Saunders?
Oh, well, it must have been about 3 o'clock, I'm afraid. Yes, half an hour late. Business, of course. Mr. Crisp...
Will you no speak the truth, man?
Eh? Well, as a matter of fact, I may have been a minute or two later. I rather avoided looking at the clock, I'm afraid. What time did I come in, Miss Madden?
3:15, Mr. Saunders. I remember the occasion perfectly.
I do, was it? Oh, well, I thought it must have been somewhere about 3 or a little after. What a memory you've got, Miss Madden.
There you are, Sergeant. Difference between 10 minutes to and 5 minutes past. All the difference, right?
Aye, my lord.
Right. Now then, I noticed a job in printers on the way up here. That's our next stop. Come along. Good afternoon. I want to buy a few metal types, rather like these on this piece of paper. They must be this size, and as near in character as you can supply them.
Oh, that'll be 5 point. The nearest thing to it would be Clarendon caps. Aye, we can give you that, if you weren't wanting a great weight of it.
Oh, dear, no. I only want 5 letters, A, E, L, M, and S, and a complete set of figures.
Very good.
By the way, did you have a gentleman in here asking for the same thing a week ago?
Oh, no, sir. I would mind it well enough. It would be a rather uncommon transaction.
Oh, didn't you? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Better get a trade directory, Sergeant, and count out all the printers. Oh, and yes, wait. Yes, indeed. The people who sell bookbinding materials. Ferguson must have got these somewhere, unless, of course, he brought them with him, which isn't very likely.
I didn't understand, my lord.
You will. Come to the station master's office at St. Enoch as soon as you can. The rest of us, meanwhile, are going somewhere quiet to do some printing. Somewhere like a hotel bedroom. Now, gentlemen, we come to the crucial point of our investigation. How did Ferguson manage to present a properly punched ticket at the St. Enoch barrier for a train journey he had not undertaken? Well, I've been making inquiries. Between Gatehouse and Glasgow, on the 9:08 a.m. train, a ticket stands to be punched 3 times. The first time is at Maxwelltown, where a horrible set of indented letters and numerals is produced. To be exact, LMS on top, and 42E underneath. At Hurlford, something like a squat figure 1 is removed from the side of the ticket. And at Marklin, another cipher code, to wit, LMS on top and 23A underneath is used. Ferguson, with his artist's eye and remarkable visual memory, remembered them. And we, with the help of these letters and instruments, are now going to forge the punch marks on this ticket. After which, we will present ourselves at the ticket barrier at St. Enoch. Excuse me.
Aye, sir?
Good evening, good evening. I think you were on the barrier when I came in on the 2:16 this afternoon, right? Now, do you know that you let me get past without giving up my ticket? But I don't want to get you into trouble, my good fellow, so I brought you the ticket, and if I were you, I'd just slip it in with the others and say no more about it. But you will be more careful in future now, won't you?
Sir, I dinna ken what you'll be up to, but I'll no be had twice that way within the week.
Come on. I'm a police officer, and I'll trouble you to attend to me. Have you had the same thing happen to you before?
Aye, exactly a week ago. A gentleman did exactly what this gentleman has just tried to do.
Now, here comes DL with the station master.
You are quite right, my lord, about Ferguson having gone to a printer. I found the man. Last week, a gentleman corresponding to Ferguson's description came in and explained he was doing a little amateur bookbinding and wanted to punch the spines of a set of volumes which were to be labelled Samuel 1, 2, 3 and 4.
And that series contains all the letters and numbers necessary.
Aye, my lord.
Then the case against Ferguson is complete. Very sad. I rather like Ferguson. I couldn't stick Campbell at any price. I rather wish...
It can't be helped, my lord. Murder is murder, you can't.
Not always, Inspector. Not always.
I'll take you in now, my lord. He tried to make a bolt for it, so Constables Ross and Duncan arrested him.
Poor chap. Hello, Ferguson.
Wimsey, it wasn't murder. I swear to God it wasn't murder. And I told you the truth when I said it didn't happen in the least like your reconstruction.
What did happen, Ferguson?
Campbell came back at 10:15, just like I said. He barged into my place, very drunk and spawning for a fight. I told him to get out of my house. He wouldn't go, and I tried to push him out. There was a rough and a tumble, and I got a heavy punching on his jaw. He went over and caught his head on the top of the studio stove. When I went over to pick him up, he was dead.
And you panicked?
Well, I was frightened. Here he was in my house, dead, and I had certainly used force on him first. Then I began to think I might make it look like an accident. I needn't go into details. You seem to know them all. My plan worked perfectly except for one thing. With everything I had to do at night, I forgot to wind my watch. It stopped, and that was why I left the Minnoch so late and nearly missed the train. I was lucky, hanging on to that car, because it made my alibi much better. But not good enough.
I'm afraid not.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill Campbell. And I still say and say again, it was not murder. You do believe that, don't you?
I do. And if the jury are sensible people, they'll bring it in self-defense or justifiable homicide. Good luck.
Thanks, Wimsey.
And there we leave the windswept hills of Kirkcudbright, friends, with Lord Peter Wimsey once again proving that no alibi, however clever, can withstand a clear mind and a steady eye. The 5 red herrings are swept aside, the truth laid bare. If you enjoyed tonight's journey into Dorothy L. Sayers' Scotland, do help keep Detective Radio alive. Subscribe to the channel. Tap the bell so you'll know when the next mystery drops. And leave a comment below to tell us your favorite moment or your theory about the case. We read every note you send, and your thoughts shape the stories we choose next. Until we meet again for another mystery, this is Edward wishing you a very good night and happy sleuthing.